Chapter 1175. Child Black Zephyr rarely appeared in the outside world. However, because he was running the black market planet, he would occasionally appear in front of the cultivators under his command. Because of this, many local cultivators were familiar with Child Black Wind's aura even though very few people knew his true appearance under the luck color. What happened? It's just a small black market theft, how could it even alarm Lord Black Wind? Mo Wenxian's guards were all shocked and hurried out to welcome the Child of Black Wind. Ning Fan also went out of the shop. He held the fossil in his hand and looked at Child Black Wind who appeared out of nowhere. His eyes slightly sank. Although I don't want to take the initiative to provoke trouble, this person just had to provoke me. This is really troublesome. After the Black Wind Child landed on the ground, he waved his hand arrogantly and dismissed his subordinates. He did not want to pay attention to these people nor did he want to ask what happened here. He directly walked towards Ning Fan. He had already seen the cause of the incident. The reason why he showed up now was to stop Ning Fan from buying the butterfly fossil. Slaughter Temple Master. I won't beat around the bush. Previously, I didn't discover the true value of this item, so I put it on sale in the shop. Now that I've discovered its true value, I won't sell it to you anymore. The moment Child Black Wind said this, all the cultivators that were attracted by the commotion revealed looks of surprise. Other than Child Black Wind, no one else in this place could see through Ning Fan's minor illusion technique. How could they not be shocked when they heard Ning Fan's true identity? Some of the guards of Mo Wenxian who had spoken rudely to Ning Fan just now were drenched in cold sweat at this moment. The person they scolded was actually the dignified palace lord of the Massacre Palace, the Yama of the Eastern Heaven. They were finished. Ning Fan would certainly settle the score with them and they would die a graveless death. Ning Fan's frown deepened. Now that his identity was exposed, the entire black market planet fell into a state of shock. This was something he did not want to see. What made him even more displeased was Child Black Wind's attitude. When Child Black Zephyr saw that the butterfly fossil had triggered the mysteries of reincarnation, he wanted to unilaterally break the deal and take back the fossil. Why? Seeing that his identity was exposed, Ning Fan was too lazy to continue acting. He removed the minor illusion technique and revealed his true appearance in front of everyone. The exclamations of the entire black market planet grew louder. It's really Lord Kill Hall. Lord Kill Hall actually came to Black Market Planet. Wow, Lord Kill Hall is so handsome. He's even more handsome in person than the portrait. Have you heard? Previously, when Lord Kill Hall was hiding his identity, some low-level perfected immortals had made things difficult for him, but he was very magnanimous and did not care about those perfected immortals. He's not as unreasonable as the rumors say. Lord Kill Hall is too gentle. If it were any other old monster, even if they didn't kill the person who made things difficult for them, they would most likely teach him a lesson or two. I heard that the Lord of the Kill Hall is a playboy. I wonder if he still recruits girls to warm his bed. I heard that Lord Kill Hall has a strange hobby under his bed. He likes to drip wax on his whip. Just thinking about it makes me excited. I really want to be humiliated by Lord Kill Hall. With Ning Fan's senses, how could the discussions of the entire black market planet escape his eyes and ears? Who could tell him why the exclamations around him were becoming stranger and stranger? Those who were talking about strange things were obviously the female cultivators of the black market star. Ning Fan withdrew his spirit sense slightly. He felt extremely awkward and did not want to listen to them anymore. His gaze fell on the Black Wind Child again and said, I've been cultivating for my entire life but I've never heard of a market that has such a rule that allows one to forcefully take back the goods that have already been sold. Humph. Other places don't have such a rule but it doesn't mean that my black market star doesn't have it. On this black market star, my words are the rules. The Black Wind Child said arrogantly as if he was the emperor of the black market star. Ning Fan smiled. He had always been the one bullying others. Today, an 8th tribulation immortal emperor actually came to his doorstep to bully him. Could it be that this person doesn't know about his various achievements in the border river? He even killed a half-saint realm expert. A mere 8th tribulation immortal dares to provoke me? Is he tired of living? If this person isn't extremely stupid, then he must have some kind of trump card that makes him think that he can go against me. As an immortal emperor, no matter how arrogant he is, he won't be a stupid person. So, the reason should be the latter. I'm really curious about what kind of ability this person has to make him so confident. Ning Fan was too lazy to talk nonsense with the Black Wind Child. This person was a member of the underworld. It was useless to reason with him. With a chi sound, Ning Fan flew into the sky and kept the butterfly fossil into his storage pouch. Then, he sneered. Fine. You have your own rules and I have mine. This item has already fallen into my hands. It's impossible for me to return it to you no matter what. If you want it, then show me what you're capable of. Ha ha ha. What a great Yama of the Eastern Heaven. You're the one who asked for it. Don't think that you're qualified to inherit the Eastern Heaven Ancestral Emperor position just because you made some contributions in the border river. Let me tell you. In my eyes, all your achievements in the border river are all bullshit. When my master and I were dominating the Eastern Heaven, you were still drinking milk in some unknown place. Chi the child of Black Wind also flew up to the sky and laughed maniacally, standing in the air with Ning Fan. Everyone was stunned by the impending battle between immortal Emperor realm experts. Some of them were excited to be able to witness such a great battle while some of them left the Black Market Star in a hurry as they were afraid of being affected by the battle between immortal Emperor realm experts. Of course, most of them still chose to stay and watch the battle to increase their own comprehension. Ning Fan was not concerned about all of these. At this moment, his eyes were shining with green light. His eyesight was so powerful that it seemed like he could see through everything about the Black Wind Child. To be honest, the Black Wind Child's 8th tribulation cultivation realm was nothing but an immortal in Ning Fan's eyes. However, for some unknown reason, the Black Wind Child who was just an 8th tribulation cultivation realm actually gave Ning Fan a sense of danger. This is really unimaginable. There seems to be something strange about this person. Ning Fan muttered to himself. While Ning Fan was pondering, the Black Wind Child suddenly opened his mouth and breathed out a puff of black smoke towards Ning Fan's face. Oh. It's actually a grand cultivation realm divine ability, the law-extinguishing devil smoke. Ning Fan recognized the divine ability that the Black Wind Child used. What surprised Ning Fan was the proficiency of the Black Wind Child's divine ability. What a great Black Wind Child! He actually cultivated the law-extinguishing devil smoke to the perfect level. A cultivator with ordinary aptitude would need at least 5 million years of bitter cultivation in order to cultivate a grand cultivation realm divine ability to the perfect level. Is this Black Wind Child actually someone with such great perseverance that he is willing to spend 5 million years doing nothing just to study this law-extinguishing devil smoke? One should know that even though Ning Fan's knowledge was extensive, there were very few divine abilities that he could cultivate to the perfect level. It was because he did not have enough time. It had always been enough. Just like the Langya Heavenly Hooking Jade divine ability that he obtained in the Boundary River, the Heavenly Ox Skin Marks and the Fate-Defying Lightning Technique, once any divine ability is cultivated to the perfect level, the power that it could unleash was not to be underestimated. At this moment, the Black Wind Child's divine ability was in such a situation. Although he was just an 8th tribulation cultivator, the law-extinguishing devil smoke that he casually breathed out could even frighten a 9 tribulation immortal emperor during the Dharma ending era. They would choose to avoid it and not dare to face it head-on. Ha ha ha. Even though my cultivation base is low, the power of my divine abilities and techniques is something that even many half-saints cannot compare to. Do you think you can be arrogant in my territory just because you have killed a half-saint before? Today, I will let you know how high the sky and how thick the earth of this Black Market Star is. The Black Wind Child laughed loudly. While he was laughing, Ning Fan's body was engulfed and devoured by the rolling devil smoke. However, at the next moment, the Black Wind Child could not laugh anymore. It was as if he had swallowed a fly. His smile stiffened on his face. Ning Fan was actually unscathed. He just casually took out the wind-fire fan that he had not used for many years and fanned away the devil smoke that filled the sky. What? The law-extinguishing devil smoke that I have cultivated to the perfect level was actually destroyed by this kid with just a lift of his hand? This is impossible. Even if he used a low-grade innate magic treasure, it should still be impossible for him to do this. Could it be that his magic power is already so strong that he can ignore this level of divine ability? The Black Wind Child's eyes darkened. With another flip of his hand, the cloud chi of the entire black market star condensed into a dark cloud light sword in his hand. Then, he raised his hand and threw it out. Wherever the dark cloud light sword passed through, the laws of heaven and earth were all shattered. The entire starry sky trembled. Oh! Another grand cultivation realm divine ability? Besides, this person has also cultivated this divine ability to the perfect level. Ning Fan's expression became even more astonished. However, of course, this sword could not hurt Ning Fan at all. As Ning Fan casually flicked out a tribulation light pillar, the sword crumbled and vanished into thin air. Impossible. Even the mysterious devil heaven slaying style can't do anything to this person. The Black Wind Child's expression became even uglier. He pointed his finger at Ning Fan again and used the third grand cultivation realm divine ability that he had cultivated to the perfect level. Immortal World Finger. However, this technique was still shattered by Ning Fan's tribulation light pillar. The force of his finger could not even get within 1,000 zhang of Ning Fan. Impossible. 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 More and more perfect divine abilities were used by the Black Wind Child. Each of them was so earth-shattering. Each of them could even make a half-saint feel troubled. Counting carefully, the Black Wind Child had already used close to 50 types of grand cultivation realm divine abilities. Moreover, each of them had been cultivated to the perfect level. However, none of them could even touch the corner of Ning Fan's clothes. This was the first time the cultivators of the Black Market Planet saw the Black Wind Child using his full strength. Everyone was shocked by the might of his divine abilities. The Black Wind Child was definitely an absolute expert among the Doomsday Immortal Emperors. Which immortal emperor in the Age of Chaos could master 50 types of grand cultivation realm divine abilities? And which immortal emperor would have so much time to cultivate all of them to the perfect level? Even a half-saint would not be able to do it. However, Ning Fan seemed to be even stronger. From the beginning to the end, Ning Fan did not even stain the corner of his clothes when facing the Black Wind Child's tide-like attacks. He did not even move half a step. Just how strong was he? In front of the Black Wind Child, Ning Fan was like an insurmountable mountain. Even if the Black Wind Child used all of his strength, he could not move Ning Fan at all. The strength of Lord Killing Hall has really surpassed all the Doomsday Immortal Emperors. The entire Black Market Planet exclaimed. When these exclamations fell into the Black Wind Child's ears, it was no different from the most intense humiliation. It was as if countless hands were slapping him in the face. Impossible. This is impossible. He was an ancient great emperor who had once followed the Eastern Sky ancestral emperor. How could he not even touch the corner of Ning Fan's clothes? This is impossible. Ning Fan actually has such strength. Besides, he had made great contributions in the battle at the Border River. This person is definitely the biggest obstacle for me to become the Eastern Sky ancestral emperor. I must kill this person, I must definitely kill this person. The killing intent in the Black Wind Child's heart became even more intense. However, his expression looked like he had admitted defeat. He withdrew all of his divine abilities and said with a bitter smile. Ha ha ha. You're indeed worthy of being the famous Yama of the eastern sky. Your divine abilities are indeed shocking. I admit defeat. Fine. I'll sell this butterfly fossil to you, fellow Taoist. All the cultivators of the black market planet heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed like the battle between the two great figures had come to an end. The situation did not seem to have escalated to an uncontrollable stage. This was really great. However, just when everyone thought that the battle had ended, the Black Wind Child suddenly made his move. He secretly activated a gourd and launched a sneak attack at Ning Fan. The sky behind Ning Fan suddenly split open without any warning. A gourd with billowing black chi suddenly appeared behind Ning Fan. It emitted a boundless suction force and sucked Ning Fan into the gourd. Seeing that his sneak attack was a success, the Black Wind Child was delighted. However, he was dumbfounded after a short while. He saw Ning Fan, who was sucked into the gourd, suddenly turned into an illusion and disappeared. As for the real Ning Fan, he slowly appeared on the other side of the sky like an illusion. Impossible. You actually avoided my sneak attack. Is this an illusion technique? Since when did I fall into his illusion technique? Break. The Black Wind Child's expression changed drastically. He wanted to break Ning Fan's illusion technique. Unfortunately, the binding power of Ning Fan's illusion technique was no longer the same as before. Since he had already fallen into the illusion technique, he would never be able to wake up from it. I've already shown mercy to you, the Black Market Planet. However, you insist on killing me. In a battle between cultivators, it's either you die or I die. Since you want to kill me, don't blame me for being merciless. Welcome to my immemorial rainy night. In Ning Fan's right eye, the shadow of the dark samsara tree appeared. At the moment when the shadow of the tree appeared, the Black Wind Child's body trembled. Then, his eyes became dazed. His entire consciousness was pulled into Ning Fan's illusion world, unable to escape. This was an illusion technique that could instantly kill a half-saint of the true lightning world. Even the soul-sucking tree with a cultivation base of half-saint realm had to commit suicide to get rid of the illusion technique. How could the Black Wind Child escape from it? Along with a miserable shriek, the Black Wind Child's consciousness was erased by Ning Fan's illusion technique, turning him into an idiot. Ning Fan did not directly destroy his primordial spirit. If the power of the immemorial rainy night's illusion technique was exerted to its maximum, it could even kill the true spirit of a half-saint in an instant, let alone the 8 tribulations primordial spirit of the Black Wind Child. Ning Fan spared the Black Wind Child's life, allowing him to live on as an idiot. Of course, it was not because Ning Fan was soft-hearted. If Ning Fan used the reverse spirit technique in the illusion world and read a large amount of the Black Wind Child's memories, there were some things that Ning Fan was very interested in. If he spared the Black Wind Child's life, he would still be useful. He could be used as a sacrificial offering. After the blood sacrifice, Ning Fan could obtain some benefits. If he simply kills him, wouldn't it be a waste? The number of 8 tribulations immortal emperors in the Dharma-ending era would be 1 less after he was killed. It would not be easy to find such a suitable sacrificial offering. Silence. The entire black market star was dead silent. No one expected that the Black Wind Child could not even scratch the corner of Ning Fan's clothes after attacking him for a long time while panting heavily. On the other hand, Ning Fan just used an illusion technique and a gaze to kill the Black Wind Child. When did the Lord of the Killing Palace learn such a terrifying illusion technique that could instantly kill an 8 tribulations immortal emperor in a single move? According to the intelligence, Ning Fan did not seem to have such a terrifying illusion technique in the past. In other words, Ning Fan had become stronger again in the recent tens of years. He was even stronger than when he was in the Battle of the Realm River. From today onwards, the Black Market Star is my territory. Next, I am going to take over the entire Black Market Star and use it as the Eastern Heaven Ring. Ning Fan said indifferently. Originally, he just wanted to buy the sixth item in a low-key manner and then find a remote place to cultivate. However, since the Black Wind Child is seeking death, he did not mind taking over the black market star. I can give this black market star to the little demoness. Doesn't she like to deal with the businesses in the cultivation world? Then, I'll let her deal with the black markets of the entire Eastern Heaven. In this way, she will be the pavilion lord of the godly void pavilion on the surface while she is the owner of the Eastern Heaven black market behind her back. I reckon she will be very happy. Since I have taken over the black market star, I need to deal with some of the people who are loyal to the Black Wind Child. Ning Fan's previous friendly expression changed. His eyes were filled with evil intent. His spirit sense instantly locked onto a small number of cultivators on the black market star. The moment the Black Wind Child was killed, these people had the intention to kill him. To cut the weeds, one must eliminate the roots. He could be merciful to unrelated people, but to his enemies, he would only be cruel. A few days later, the incident that happened on the black market star spread across the Eastern Heaven. Countless old monsters of the Eastern Heaven were shocked by Ning Fan's illusion technique that instantly killed an immortal emperor. A few more months later, the black market star officially changed its owner. It became the private property of the little demoness, the chief pavilion lord of the godly void pavilion. Ning Fan was not concerned about how shocking this incident would be in the Eastern Heaven. At this moment, he was in seclusion to study the sixth item. Heaven-reaching devil wings. The price of this item was extremely high on the black market star. Its value could no longer be measured by Tao crystals. It required 10 revolutions emperor pills to exchange for it. It was not that Ning Fan did not have 10 revolutions emperor pills. However, after taking over the black market star, he certainly did not need to spend money to buy anything. Would he need to spend money to take things from his shop? No way. Since he had already obtained the heaven-reaching devil wings, it was just a matter of time before he successfully developed the pseudo-devil cavity. However, Ning Fan did not immediately study the heaven-reaching devil wings. He was very interested in the spoils of war he obtained on the black market star. Mid-grade innate magic treasure, Black Wind Gourd. This was the relic of the previous ancestral emperor of the Eastern Sky. It was stolen by the child Black Wind who had once served the ancestral emperor. Ning Fan knew that the ancestral emperor of the Eastern Sky was killed by the saint of the sacred sect of the true world across time and space because he cultivated the heaven sealing technique without permission. That was what Sovereign II had told Ning Fan to dissuade him from cultivating the heaven sealing technique to the highest level. After searching through the child Black Wind's memories, Ning Fan found out that before the ancestral emperor of the Eastern Sky fell unexpectedly, he had a premonition that his death was near. Thus, he had given his relic to a few of his good friends. The Black Wind Gourd was not given to the child Black Wind but to a certain good friend. However, after the ancestral emperor died, the child Black Wind went against the ancestral emperor's will and plotted against that good friend of the ancestral emperor, seizing the Black Wind Gourd. In other words, the child Black Wind was not a loyal servant of the ancestral emperor of the Eastern Sky, nor was he a kind person. Instead, he was a traitor of the ancestral emperor. In that case, even if Ning Fan kills the child Black Wind, he would not have to feel sorry for the ancestral emperor of the Eastern Sky. The entire Eastern Sky knew that Ning Fan was obsessed with the gourd magic treasure. When Ning Fan obtained the Black Wind Gourd just now, he was extremely excited. Could it be that he had coincidentally picked up a divine tool called the Blood Chi Gourd? Unfortunately, he was soon disappointed. The Black Wind Gourd was not the Blood Chi Gourd. His journey to find other divine tools was still very far away. However, this disappointment did not last for long because Ning Fan regained his interest in the Black Wind Gourd very quickly. This Black Wind Gourd is really a good item. It can actually speed up the cultivation of divine abilities. No wonder the child Black Wind could cultivate nearly 50 major cultivation realm divine abilities to perfection. Theoretically, it would take more than 100 million years to cultivate 50 major cultivation realm divine abilities to perfection. In fact, the child Black Wind did not spend 100 million years to cultivate his divine abilities. The reason why he could master so many perfect divine abilities was all because of this Black Wind Gourd. This Black Wind Gourd is the reason why the child Black Wind is so powerful. It is highly possible that it is also part of the reason why the ancestral emperor of the eastern sky is so powerful. On a certain remote abandoned star, Ning Fan placed the Black Wind Gourd in front of him. His fingers were moving rapidly, forming a set of nameless finger seals. There were a total of thousands of finger seals in this set of finger seals. It was extremely complicated. Ning Fan formed the hand seals over and over again. He was getting more and more familiar with this set of finger seals. He began to reduce the number of finger seals. In the blink of an eye, 1 month had passed. Ning Fan had reduced this set of nameless finger seals to only 1 finger seal. Then, he would be able to activate his divine abilities. Another month passed. Ning Fan did not even need to form that finger seal anymore. He finally had the qualification to enter the gourd. Let's see if the interior of this Black Wind Gourd is really as bloody as what the child Black Wind remembered. With a chi sound, Ning Fan's body turned into a ray of light and flew into the gourd. The interior of the gourd was a world of its own. The sky was formed by blood. The earth was formed by blood. On the boundless blood-red continent, there were 4 blood shadows of immortal emperors sitting cross-legged in cultivation. However, when Ning Fan entered the world of the gourd, the 4 blood shadows of the immortal emperors suddenly let out a blood-curdling shriek and turned into a puddle of blood. At this moment, the life plates of the 4 immortal emperors of the eastern heaven who had sneak-attacked the child Black Wind and had been missing for many years finally shattered. It seems like the child Black Wind's memories did not lie to me. As long as the Black Wind Gourd changes owners, the blood spirit inside it will collapse. In the past, when the child Black Wind obtained this gourd, he could not inherit the blood spirit of the gourd that the Eastern Heaven Ancestral Emperor had captured. Now that I have obtained this gourd, I also cannot inherit the blood spirit of the child Black Wind. Ning Fan felt a little regretful. However, fortunately, he still had a ready-made 8 Tribulation Immortal Emperor that he could use to create the blood spirit of the gourd. It was none other than the child Black Wind who Ning Fan had spared previously. Unfortunately, the Tao Monarch Purple Thunder that I had captured previously was killed by me after I judged him because he had massacred the members of the True Lightning clan. The other immortal emperors of the True Lightning world and the 12 venerated lightning were all killed by me. If I had obtained this gourd earlier, perhaps I wouldn't have to kill them and I could have used them to create the blood spirit of the gourd. Ning Fan felt even more regretful. What was the blood spirit of the gourd? The blood spirit of the gourd was something that could increase the proficiency of one's magic techniques. The Black Wind Gourd was not an offensive magic treasure. Instead, it was a cultivation magic treasure. Of course, this gourd had a certain capturing ability which allowed it to suck people in. However, that bit of suction was obviously useless against real experts. The moment Ning Fan recognized the Black Wind Gourd as its master, he could bring the immortal emperors that he captured alive into the gourd world and create the blood spirit of the gourd. The person who was made into the blood spirit of the gourd would certainly die. However, due to the mysteriousness of the gourd world, as long as the blood spirit did not collapse, the heavenly Tao in the outside world would not judge the death of the cultivator. This was the reason why the life plates of the Eastern Heaven Immortal Emperors did not shatter after they went missing. In fact, they had already died many years ago. It was just that the Black Wind Gourd had concealed the truth from them. The Black Wind Gourd can hold up to 7 blood spirits at most. The blood spirit can't be used in battle, but it can be used as an external incarnation to increase the proficiency of the technique. The blood spirit of the gourd has 3 grades. The low-grade blood spirit must be made from at least immortal emperors. Once it is successfully created, the blood spirit can store one of the techniques of the gourd's master and continue to cultivate in the gourd world. Cultivating this technique for a day in the gourd world is equivalent to cultivating this technique for a year in the outside world. The mid-grade blood spirit must be made from quasi-saints. Cultivating in the gourd world for a day can increase the proficiency of a single technique of the gourd's master by 10 years. The high-grade blood spirit must be made from saints. Cultivating in the gourd world for a day will increase the proficiency of the technique of the gourd's master by 100 years. Ning Fan's eyes were burning with desire. If it were other mid-grade innate magical treasures, he might not be interested in them. However, this item was obviously very useful to him. A few days later, Ning Fan created a low-grade blood spirit using the child black wind as the material. The blood spirit of the gourd did not have any spiritual intelligence. Even though it possessed the chi of an immortal emperor, it could not fight nor leave the gourd world. However, when Ning Fan drew a ball of light from his body with the power of the black wind gourd and injected it into the body of the blood spirit, the eyes of the blood spirit of the gourd suddenly lit up as if it had come to life. It muttered to itself. Divine ability, tree demon clone. Cultivation begins. From this moment onwards, the blood spirit of the gourd only knew to do one thing, to help Ning Fan cultivate the divine ability of the tree demon clone. This was the divine ability that Ning Fan obtained after devouring the soul-sucking tree. In the past, when the soul-sucking tree used this technique, it actually split itself into 4 clones with the same cultivation level. However, it was very difficult to cultivate this technique and it consumed a lot of time. Ning Fan originally did not plan to cultivate it. However, it was different now that he had the black wind gourd. He could totally use the blood spirit in the gourd world to cultivate this technique on his own. Using the child black wind as the material, he could only create a low-grade blood spirit. Cultivating the tree demon clone for a day with the low-grade blood spirit could increase the proficiency of the divine ability of Ning Fan's main body by 1 year. In other words, for every day that passes in the real world, Ning Fan could gain 1 year's proficiency of the divine ability for free. Attaining a perfect divine ability was no longer an unattainable goal. With this treasure, I no longer need to waste a lot of time practicing the divine ability repeatedly in the future. As expected of the relic of the Eastern Sky Ancestral Emperor. Its profoundness is indeed beyond the imagination of ordinary people. However, this treasure has a flaw. During the period when the blood spirit is cultivating the divine ability, it will feed back the memories of the cultivation of the divine ability to me every once in a while. If it's a cultivator with a weak mental state, adding a large portion of memories of the cultivation of the divine ability to their sea of consciousness for no reason would probably cause them to suffer from chi deviation. However, I'm different. My mental state is even stronger than the child black wind. Since the child black wind can withstand the feedback of the memories of 4 low-grade blood spirits at the same time, it won't be difficult for me to withstand 7 blood spirits. If I encounter an immortal Emperor realm enemy in the future, I can temporarily not use it to refine the blood of 10,000 spirits. It's better to refine all the blood spirits in the gourd first. In this way, I can increase the proficiency of the 7 divine abilities at the same time. In the blink of an eye, 15 years had passed. Ning Fan used 15 years to comprehend the profoundness of the heaven-reaching devil wings and officially developed the pseudo-devil cavity. The pseudo-devil cavity that he developed seemed to be a little different. Its level was far higher than the pseudo-devil cavity that Daoist Xianwei used in the past. As soon as he created it, heaven and earth determined that it was a brand new lost-grade ancient devil ability. In other words, it was a brand new ancient devil ability that Ning Fan created using the pseudo-devil cavity as the foundation and combining 6 different spacetime concepts. It was obviously not accurate to call this technique as the pseudo-devil cavity. It was necessary for Ning Fan to give this technique a new name to distinguish it from the pseudo-devil cavity. What a headache. I have to give this ability a name again. I don't even have a name for the cross-shaped halo. What should I name this ability? Forget it. Let's just call it the Six Paths Teleportation Portal. The six paths corresponded to the six different spacetime concepts that were integrated into the pseudo-devil cavity. It was very appropriate. Ning Fan was too lazy to think of other names. In the 15 years that Ning Fan spent developing the Six Paths Teleportation Portal, the proficiency of the Tree Demon clone had increased by nearly 5,500 years. The Tree Demon clone had entered the minor completion realm. In future battles, Ning Fan could create clones that had the same cultivation base as him and fight against his enemies in a 2-on-1 battle. This technique could greatly increase his combat strength. It was equivalent to doubling his own combat strength. If one Ning Fan could not defeat him, what about two Ning Fans? It's about time. I can go to the Northern Heaven to have a look. I don't have to cultivate the Tree Demon clone for the time being. The Perfection Realm is too time-consuming. It won't be worth it if I only use a single low-grade blood spirit. It's better to change the cultivation content and let the gourd blood spirit cultivate the Six Paths Teleportation Portal. After all, the Six Paths Teleportation Portal was a new technique that Ning Fan had just developed. Its proficiency level was 0. Without a certain level of proficiency, Ning Fan would not dare to cross the world plane and head to the Northern Heaven recklessly. Thus, Ning Fan stayed in the Eastern Heaven for another 5 years. During these 5 years, he made arrangements for many matters after he left. After thinking for a long time, he still did not bring Zhongyu along to the Northern Heaven. Only by leaving a quasi-saint realm Zhongyu in the Eastern Heaven could he leave without worries. Ning Fan also left a trace of spirit sense in the Eastern Heaven. Once something happens in the Eastern Heaven, Ning Fan could use the Six Paths Teleportation Portal to cross the world plane and return to the Eastern Heaven to provide assistance. Before Ning Fan left, Zhongyu found him again and said, "Little thief, I have a new decision regarding the reconstruction of the ancient heavenly court." She was still planning for this matter. "I'm going to the Northern Heaven soon. You can decide everything." Ning Fan answered. Niu Manshan smelled something and came to him. "Kid, your chi seems to be very different recently. Did you master some kind of powerful world plane teleportation technique? Can you bring me to the Northern Heaven?" This old man is still thinking about going to the Northern Heaven to look for his nun lover. "No. You're wrong. I don't have that level of world plane teleportation technique." Ning Fan lied without changing his expression. Niu Manshan believed Ning Fan's words like a fool. Then, when Ning Fan really tore the world plane apart and headed to the Northern Heaven, Niu Manshan was furious. "Stinking brat! How dare you lie to me?" Chapter 1176. Kid, your chi seems to be very different recently. Did you master some kind of powerful world plane teleportation technique? Can you bring me to the Western Heaven? No. You sensed wrongly. I don't have that level of world plane teleportation technique. Stinking brat, how dare you lie to me? You obviously know it. You obviously know it. Senior, please wait patiently. Once I'm done with the matters in the Northern Heaven, I will find some time to bring Senior to the Western Heaven. Ning Fan smiled faintly and transmitted his voice to Niu Manshan the moment he stepped into the teleportation portal. "Ah! How long do you want to wait? Tell me clearly." Stinking brat, no, little friend Ning, don't go yet. Wait for me. Until the end, Niu Manshan still dreamed of going to the Western Heaven to find his old lover in the nun. Unfortunately, Ning Fan did not plan to waste time and bring Niu Manshan to the Western Heaven. It was not that Ning Fan did not want to help Niu Manshan and make him owe him a favor. It was just that he had just learned the Six Paths teleportation technique and there were still many problems with the technique. Even though he had the help of the blood spirit in the Black Wind Gourd, he had only spent 5 years to practice this technique. The time was still too short after all. It was obviously far from enough for him to increase the proficiency of such a heaven-defying world-plane teleportation technique by just 1,000 years. If the boundary river of the four heavens was not blocked by the seal of the immortal sovereign realm, this little bit of proficiency might be enough. However, the reality was that the boundary river of the four heavens was blocked by a force of the fourth step. With this little bit of proficiency, there was at least a 10% chance that the teleportation would fail halfway and he would be torn to pieces by the power of time and space. According to Ning Fan's estimation, he would need at least another hundreds of thousands of years of proficiency to reduce the 10% chance of encountering danger to 5%. In order to completely avoid the risk, he would need to cultivate the Six Paths teleportation technique to the Grand Completion realm. Obviously, he did not have that much time to slowly practice the Six Paths teleportation technique. Under such circumstances, Ning Fan was willing to take a 10% risk to use the teleportation technique for the matter of the Northern Heaven. However, he might not be willing to risk his life for Niu Manshan to find his old lover. If it is possible, he would be more willing to bring Niu Manshan to the Northern Heaven. However, he was still worried about Niu Manshan. It is already very rare that this person does not destroy the world. If you want him to follow you to the Northern Heaven to protect the world, it would be difficult. By placing this person in the Eastern Heaven, he could still rely on the relationship between this person and Old Wu and the others to keep an eye on him and prevent him from destroying the world. Northern Heaven, on the other hand, was different. That seemed to be the place where the chaos in the Realm River was the most severe, the place where the mastermind behind the scenes was located. If Niu Manshan is bewitched by the mastermind behind the chaos in the Border River when he arrives in the Northern Heaven and directly betrays him, wouldn't Ning Fan have one more Grand Cultivation Realm enemy? The dark race disappeared from the eastern sky, so it's almost certain that they went to the northern sky. The ancestor of the dark race was an ancient great cultivator. Just from this point, it could be concluded that the situation in the north sky was countless times more serious than in the east sky. There seemed to be the shadow of the Demon Conferral Summit behind this matter. It had been confirmed that behind the Demon Conferral Summit was a black-winged great demon at the Grand Cultivation Realm, who had once run to the tomb of the god of sin and let out an earth-shattering roar. I wonder if there are any other great demon-class old monsters apart from this black-winged great devil. Why did the Dark Race and the Devil Sealing Summit incite chaos in the Realm River? Are there any other unknown forces behind this? Could there be other secret clans among the 10 great secret clans that have betrayed the Purple Doe Immortal region? I hope I'm just overthinking. After Master Luan Gu was resurrected, he did not stay in the Eastern Heaven. Perhaps he went to the Northern Heaven. On the way to the teleportation formation, Ning Fan's brows were tightly knitted together. He was not optimistic about the situation in the Northern Heaven. In the Northern Heaven immortal world, people also called it the Northern Sea. The sea was also the same. It was obviously the four heavens, but it was also named after the sea. It was really strange. There was another saying in the cultivation world: the Southern Heaven upholds Tao while the Northern Heaven upholds techniques. It said that the cultivators of the Northern Heaven advocated the study of magic techniques and miscellaneous techniques while the cultivators of the Southern Heaven advocated the study of Tao. However, it did not mean that the cultivators of the Northern Heaven were really not interested in the word Tao. At this moment, on a low-grade cultivation planet called the Turtle Immortal Planet in the Northern Heaven, there was a void fragmentation realm old monster giving a lecture to his disciples. That void fragmentation realm old monster's surname was Chu. People called him Daoist Chu. He was quite famous near the Turtle Immortal Planet. The reason why he was so famous was naturally not because of his void fragmentation realm cultivation base but because of his Tao comprehension and his identity. According to rumors, this person was born in the Great Chu clan, and had an illustrious background. Another rumor said that even though this person's cultivation base was not high, his Tao comprehension was even higher than some life immortal realm old monsters. There was also another rumor that said that this person was not actually a void fragmentation realm cultivator but an old monster of the second step who was hiding his cultivation base. The people who held this opinion were because they had personally witnessed a cultivator from the northern heaven Duzhen coming to look for trouble with this person. However, he was scared away by this person's shocking aura force. In the eyes of the cultivators of the turtle immortal planet, Daoist Chu had countless mysteries about him. He was a senior expert who could not be provoked. What Daoist Chu loved the most in his life was to go out and visit the Tao. Even now, the situation in Northern Sky was not optimistic, and all the sects and factions were in fear of the beast tide. Chu Daoist still insisted on his own principle. As long as the head was still there, he would pursue Tao for another day, and he could not slack off. Senior Chu, our northern heaven is clearly the sky, the starry sky. Why do some people call us the northern sea? Isn't the sea a sea? But in the vast starry sky, there is not even a drop of seawater. Why do we call ourselves a sea? Below the high altar, a local nascent soul cultivator of the turtle deity planet raised his hand in confusion and asked. That's a good question. Actually, you're not the only one thinking about this question. Many of the famous Northern Sky elders are also thinking about this question. Ever since I was able to shatter space, I've traveled the world and visited many great teachers. I've received many different answers. In my Chu clan, there is a view that before the collapse of the four heavens, the northern sky was not a starry sky, but an ocean. It was only because of the collapse of the heaven and earth that the seawater finally dried up and disappeared without a trace. But this is only a minority view. There are not many people who share the same view as my Chu clan. Even more old monster Northski believed that the northern sea was actually using a fake word. What was the meaning of forgery? Forgery means the underworld. Isn't the starry sky of the northern sky similar to the boundless netherworld? Daoist Chu patiently explained. So that's how it is. It turns out that there are two different views about the origin of the northern sea. Since Senior was born in the great Chu clan, you must also hold the former view, right? Someone asked. No, I don't think that the northern sky was once an ocean. Then, Senior holds the latter view. Not really. I also don't think that the ancient people calling the northern sky as the underworld is a misuse. Daoist Chu shook his head again. Could it be that Senior has a third view about the origin of the northern sea? Someone asked curiously. There is indeed a third view, but this view was not raised by me. It was raised by a certain senior from the Light Clan. When Daoist Chu mentioned the Light Clan, he suddenly became secretive and stopped talking. Light Clan? I've never heard of this force. Does our northern sky have such a clan? Many cultivators of the turtle immortal planet asked doubtfully. Daoist Chu remained silent. He didn't mention a single word about the Light Clan. He didn't want to reveal anything about the secret clan to the low-level cultivators of the northern sky. Senior, why don't you talk about the third view? What is the third view that Senior is talking about? Someone asked. That day, when I went out to visit the Tao, I met that Senior by chance. When I raised this question, that Senior only replied with one sentence, you can only see the stars, but you can't see the ocean. People live in the water, but they spend their whole lives looking for the ocean. How can they find it? Sure enough, the world that I see is not something that you all can see. When Daoist Chu mentioned the third view, he looked disappointed. He couldn't see the world that the senior from the Light Clan saw. What exactly does the sea of stars look like in the eyes of the senior? Silence. The entire altar suddenly became silent because of the third view raised by Daoist Chu. Those with discerning eyes knew that these few words of Daoist Chu contained shocking Tao enlightenment. However, with the comprehension of this group of low-level cultivators, they couldn't understand the profound meaning no matter how hard they thought. Thus, they could only give up. In the end, everyone had a disappointed attitude, which was no different from what Daoist Chu had shown before. While everyone was feeling disappointed, a loud roar suddenly came from the sky above the turtle immortal planet. Suddenly, a crack with monstrous devil cheat appeared in the empty starry sky. The crack became bigger and finally turned into a black door. This is... How could the low-level cultivators know what this devil door was? However, with Daoist Chu's eyesight, he could tell at a glance that this devil door was very similar to the devil cavity of the ancient demon clan. Could it be the devil cavity of the ancient demon clan? Could it be that there is another expert from the Devil Conferral Summit who wants to use this technique to descend into the beast tide? Daoist Chu was shocked at first. Then, his gaze softened and he said hesitantly. No, it's not the devil cavity of the ancient demon clan. Although it is similar, the principle is not the same. Daoist Chu looked at the huge black door that appeared out of nowhere with vigilance. Until the door disappeared, he didn't see any expert from the Devil Conferral Summit coming out from the door. Just as he was about to let out a sigh of relief, suddenly, there was a loud noise. The huge black door actually exploded. The broken devil light instantly drowned the starry sky near the turtle immortal planet. After a long time, the devil light subsided. No one knew the cause of the explosion. Even Daoist Chu didn't know the details. At that moment, it seemed that something exploded from the devil door, but it seems to be my illusion. No, I must report what happened here to the 4C sect. It's better to be safe than sorry. If it was really an expert from the Devil Conferral Summit who invaded. Thinking of this, how could Daoist Chu still have the mood to give a lecture? He dismissed all the people who were listening and turned into a stream of light that flew away from the turtle immortal planet. He had to rush back to the Great Chu family immediately and contact the 4C sect with the clan's magical artifact. Fortunately, the Great Chu family's true flame planet was not far from the turtle immortal planet. With the speed of the 10,000 ancient immortal venerables, he would be able to rush back in no time. Help, help. Halfway through his journey, Daoist Chu suddenly saw a low-grade cultivation planet not far away that was emitting the flames of war. Bai Yunqing planet. Daoist Chu spread out his divine sense and immediately sensed that an ancient demon cavity had opened up in the sky above Bai Yunqing planet. It was different from the mysterious devil door from before. The ancient demon cavity in front of him was the real ancient demon cavity. An endless stream of beast tide from the realm river was killing their way out of the solitary devil cavity and killing wantonly on this Bai Yunqing planet. Damn it! Right under this old man's nose, the 13th beast tide has actually descended. Daoist Chu's eyes immediately darkened. Fortunately, the highest cultivation level of the beast tide that attacked Bai Yunqing planet was only at the life immortal realm. Most of them were foreign race members of the first step. With his 10,000 ancient immortal venerables cultivation level, he would be able to kill all the foreign race invaders in no time. That was what he thought, and that was what he did. 1 hour later, Daoist Chu killed all the foreign race invaders and destroyed the ancient demon cavity above the planet, cutting off the possibility of more foreign race invaders descending on this planet. But even if he killed all the foreign race invaders, what could he do? Even with his help, more than 90% of the cultivators on this planet had been devoured by the beast tide. The spirit veins of the entire cultivation planet had been destroyed. According to past experience, once a beast tide appeared on a cultivation planet, there would be a second and third beast tide. This planet could no longer be inhabited. He had to seal all the space tunnels. In the end, Daoist Chu used the sealing technique passed down by the 4C sect to seal the entire Bai Yunqing planet. As for the survivors on this planet, he summoned his star boat and transported them back to the Chu family's refugee camp. This was already the 13th batch of refugees. It has only been a few years since the Devil Conferral Summit and the foreign races of the Northern Heaven officially formed an alliance. However, there have already been 13 beast tides descending under the rule of my Chu family. In the vast Northern Heaven, how many people are being harmed or are about to be harmed by the foreign races? This is no longer something that the previous clan leaders and young clan leaders of the Chu family can handle. Even I, the founder of the Chu family, have no choice but to crawl out of the heaven-evading coffin and step into the mortal world again. Sigh, Daoist Chu let out a sigh and brought the group of refugees back to the Chu family on the True Flame planet. He did not notice that among the refugees he saved, there was one person who was actually not a cultivator of the northern heaven. Ning Fan. Ning Fan was also among this group of refugees. He had successfully passed through the Six Paths teleportation door and arrived at the northern heaven. However, at the last moment when he was about to arrive at the northern heaven, something went wrong with the teleportation. I didn't expect the sealing power of the primordial ancient immortal sovereign to be so powerful. I have avoided more than 400 yang seals and 700 invisible yin seals. However, I was still ambushed by the formless seal that was hidden in the deepest place. Unless I know the existence of this formless seal beforehand, it's impossible for me to avoid it. When those ancient devils crossed the starry sky of the four heavens with their devil cavities, they must have already predicted the existence of this final seal. At this moment, Ning Fan's limbs and bones were all in pain. His entire body was covered with the sealing runes of the primordial ancient immortal domain. Even his face was covered in blood. He looked extremely miserable. No one would have expected that there was a formless seal hidden in the seal that separated the four heavens from the primordial ancient immortal sovereign. It was specifically used to restrict world-plane teleportation techniques like the devil cavities from crossing the seal. At the moment when he arrived at the northern heaven, Ning Fan was ambushed by the seal and nearly died in the spatial rift. This was the reason why his 6 paths of reincarnation gate exploded. Fortunately, Ning Fan's physical body was strong. Even if he was struck by the primordial ancient runes and encountered a small spatial storm at the last moment, he still survived. In the shockwave of the explosion, Ning Fan was sent flying all the way from the turtle immortal planet to Bai Yunqing. Logically speaking, a living person being blasted to Bai Yunqing by the shockwave of the explosion should have caused a commotion. However, who asked Bai Yunqing to have such bad luck? He bumped into the invasion of a beast tide. When countless ferocious beasts of the foreign races borrowed the power of the ancient devil cavities to invade Bai Yunqing, how could the cultivators of Bai Yunqing still have the leisure to care about Ning Fan's life? None of them noticed that Ning Fan had fallen from the sky. All of them were busy fighting against the foreign races. Thus, when Daoist Chu suppressed the beast tide, he conveniently brought Ning Fan away as a refugee, speaking of which, Ning Fan's current body was covered in wounds, dirt and grime. His body was also covered in runes. He was no different from a refugee. This is a lesson. Since I know that there is a formless seal in the primordial ancient immortal sovereign's seal other than the Yang seal and the Yin seal, no matter what happens in the future, I will never be ambushed by this formless seal again. The next time I cross the four heavens, it will certainly not be like this. Besides, even though this formless seal is powerful, it is not difficult for me to break it with my current abilities. All I need is time. The Chu family of True Flame Star. I didn't expect that I would be involved with the cultivators of this family as soon as I arrived in Northern Heaven. When I was in the Rain World, I once received help from the young clan leader of the Chu family, Chu Yuran. The Chu family and the Wei family of Heluo must be my master's friends in Northern Heaven. However, according to the information I received, the Chu family doesn't seem to have an eternal immortal venerable. The previous ancestor of the Chu family who was on good terms with my master was only at the life immortal realm. Since when did the Chu family of True Flame Star have an eternal immortal venerable? Those cultivators of the Chu family seem to address Daoist Chu as their ancestor. There is something strange about this Daoist Chu. His immortal lifespan should have been cut off in the long river of time. However, I don't know why he actually managed to deceive the heavenly Tao and live until today. In the refugee camp, Ning Fan was thinking about the various things he had seen and heard after he arrived in Northern Heaven. Then, he looked inside his body and studied the formless seal. It's very strong. This seal is extremely strong. Even though Ning Fan had a way to break it, all of those methods were unorthodox methods. Obviously, it was not enough to go against the immortal sovereign of the ancient immortal sovereign realm who was at the fourth step. As for the injuries on his body, he also needed to recuperate properly. Besides, he also needed to gather more information about Northern Heaven. Should I use the rain technique? Ning Fan frowned. He did not use the rain technique to gather information within the scope of a world. Others might not recognize his rain technique, but the dark race who had interacted with him before might be able to recognize it. If the dark race knows that he has come to Northern Heaven, he could not be sure if they would secretly send people to surround and kill him. Under the situation where he knew nothing about Northern Heaven, Ning Fan did not plan to take the risk and expose his whereabouts. Then, he would use another type of information gathering technique. Ning Fan picked up a stone from the ground and asked in a friendly tone. Can you tell me what major events have happened in Northern Heaven in the past 100 years? Not long after that, he picked up another stone and continued talking to them. In the eyes of the other refugees, his actions seemed very strange and unusual. However, no one laughed at him. Among the refugees, many of them were shocked and agitated by the invasion of the beast tide and went crazy. Ning Fan was not the only one who behaved strangely. In the eyes of many of them, Ning Fan was probably agitated and went crazy. Miss, the refugee camp is dirty and smelly. Why did you come here? You are not a member of the Chu clan. Somewhere in the refugee camp, a maidservant covered her nose and said in disdain. Xiao Hong, don't say such things in the future. We are staying in the Chu clan as guests. We can't just eat and drink for free. We have to contribute when we need to. The young lady named Bei Shi answered. She was a lady with a pure and holy aura. If Ning Fan saw her, he would certainly notice that her pure and holy aura was very similar to Si Wuxia's. However, in terms of appearance, both of them had their own merits. Both of them had the qualifications to topple a country. But isn't the young clan leader of the Chu clan a little too much? Miss is the dignified eldest miss of the Lost World Palace and the one with the highest potential among the four fairies of the Bei clan. By staying in the Chu clan, Miss is giving face to the Chu clan. However, the Chu clan actually sent Miss to help these refugees settle down. It's simply an insult to Miss's identity. The maidservant chattered incessantly. Identity? Heh. In your eyes, is my identity very honorable? I'm just a chess piece. Even my mother is just. Bei Shi seemed to have thought of something and her beautiful eyes turned gloomy. Even when she was sad, she was still so beautiful that it made people look at her. Looking at her eldest miss, the maidservant Xiao Hong was instantly dazed. She recalled a drama that she had heard before. Two curved eyebrows, a pair of eyes that seemed to be happy yet not happy. Her appearance gave birth to two dimples of sorrow. Her delicate body was full of sickness. Her eyes were filled with tears and she was slightly panting. She was quiet like a beautiful flower reflecting the water. She moved like a weak willow swaying in the wind. Her heart was one more orifice than the stem, and her sickness was 3 times better than that of Shizi. This drama was simply describing the eldest miss. It was really pitiful. You won't understand even if I tell you more. You just need to remember that the current situation in the Northern Heaven is dangerous. The cultivators of the Northern Heaven should help each other. Even without the request of the Chu clan, I'm still willing to help them. Look, that young man is already crazy enough to talk to a rock. Bei Shi looked at Ning Fan's direction with a trace of sympathy and empathy in her beautiful eyes. The maidservant Xiao Hong followed the direction and saw Ning Fan who was talking to a rock. She instantly became silent. At this moment, she felt her own shallowness. There were so many refugees who deserved sympathy, but she only knew how to complain about this place being dirty and smelly. Her personality was too lowly. Her soul was too ugly. Compared to the filthy and crazy Ning Fan, she was the one who was filthy. Miss, I was wrong. The maidservant Xiao Hong said guiltily. It's good that you know you're wrong. Since that's the case, you will follow me to settle these refugees. Let's settle those who have gone crazy first. As she was speaking, Bei Shi brought her maidservant and walked towards Ning Fan with light steps. At this moment, Ning Fan was sitting on the ground and talking to a rock while enduring the pain from the runes on his body. As for Bei Shi, she squatted beside Ning Fan and tried her best to suppress the sympathy in her heart. Then, she spoke to Ning Fan in a tone as if she was treating him as an equal. Don't be afraid. I will take care of you from now on. For the rest of your life. Ning Fan withdrew his spirit sense from the communication between all living beings and looked at Bei Shi speechlessly. Who could tell him what happened? Didn't he just ask for some information from a rock? Why was he given a care card by a young miss who came out of nowhere? This lady actually wanted to take care of him for the rest of his life. Cough cough, it shouldn't be the care that he understood, right? Sure enough, when Ning Fan activated the mind-reading technique, he could easily see through the lady's current thoughts. The mind-reading technique could see through a lady's thoughts. This technique needed to be used together with Ning Fan's language guidance. For example, Ning Fan purposely asked a question to make the lady think. As long as the lady starts to think about this question, Ning Fan would be able to pry into her inner thoughts. However, if Ning Fan did not take the initiative to guide her, he would only be able to see what was going on in her mind. So that's how it is. It's my misunderstanding. It turns out that this lady is just treating me as a refugee who has gone crazy. She is pitying me. Ning Fan heaved a sigh of relief. He had a lot of women. He did not want to attract a peach blossom as soon as he arrived in northern heaven. Obviously, Bei Shi was not a rotten peach blossom that would entangle him. Do you still remember your name? I'm Bei Shi. What about you? Bei Shi asked. Bei Shi, it was as if he had heard this name before but he could not remember it. Ning Fan did not continue to pry into the lady's mind. He thought for a while and answered out of courtesy. My name is Ning Fan. Ning Fan. I feel like I've heard this name somewhere before. Bei Shi knitted her brows. However, she soon relaxed her brows. It was probably a coincidence. In this world, there were plenty of people with the same name and surname. The life of a cultivator was long and they would meet millions of people. There was nothing wrong with feeling that someone's name was familiar. Fortunately, you still remember your name. You didn't go completely crazy. Bei Shi heaved a sigh of relief for Ning Fan. I'm not crazy. Ning Fan became even more speechless. However, he was too lazy to explain the mysteries of communicating with this lady. I'm sorry. You're not crazy. It's my fault. Bei Shi hurriedly apologized to Ning Fan as she was afraid that she would trigger the madman's emotions. Forget it. Ning Fan was too lazy to care about Bei Shi. Even if he explains it 10,000 times, she will still think that he is a madman. No one would believe a drunkard who says that he is not drunk. Chapter 1177. The Chu clan had taken in a large number of refugees. Naturally, it was impossible for them to live in vain for the rest of their lives. Under Bei Shi's arrangement, most of the refugees had joined the True Flame Star and became part of the Chu clan's cultivators. In just one day, they had settled down. As for those who were seriously injured, Bei Shi took special care of them and kept them by her side for treatment. There were about 1,000 seriously injured people who stayed by her side. Ning Fan was just one of them who was unremarkable. At first, Bei Shi wanted to treat Ning Fan's mental illness. However, compared to Ning Fan's mental problem, the other injured people were either unconscious or had their primordial spirits half destroyed. All of them were more serious than Ning Fan. As such, Bei Shi could only treat those who were on the verge of death first. Once she got busy, she forgot about Ning Fan. on the true flame star of the Chu clan. It was Ning Fan's second day in Northern Heaven. At this moment, he was sitting cross-legged in a ward built with grass huts to treat his injuries. When he arrived in Northern Heaven yesterday, he was injured by the immortal Sovereign's formless seal and the space-time storm. His injuries were extremely serious. Fortunately, his physical body's recovery speed was already astonishing. He had plenty of 9 revolutions golden pills and emperor pills to treat his injuries. On the second day in Northern Heaven, his injuries had already recovered by 10% and his chi was much smoother. Lost Ancient God Technique, Divine Healing. Outside the window, the faint voice of a young lady casting a technique could be heard. That voice carried a sacred and inviolable majesty. It came from Bei Shi's mouth. Ning Fan followed the voice and spread out his spirit sense to observe secretly. It turned out that Bei Shi was treating a dying patient in an intensive care ward not far from his room. The patient was just a gold core realm cultivator. Because of the beast tide, half of his physical body was destroyed. Even his gold core that he had cultivated for 200 years was shattered. In such a situation, there was usually no way to save him. However, it also depended on who did it. If it was someone at Ning Fan's level, it would be a piece of cake to save this person. However, Bei Shi was just a peak ghost profound realm cultivator. It would be extremely difficult to save this person with her cultivation base unless she used pills. Bei Shi's entire body was enshrouded in ancient divine light. Her wide sleeves fluttered in the wind, making her look like an ancient immortal. The way she chose to save him was to use a lost ability of the ancient gods. The divine light on her body was not the real light of the ancient gods but it was just the light of the fake ancient gods. As an ancient god of ancestral blood, Ning Fan could easily judge this point. Under the illumination of Bei Shi's divine light, the dying cultivator's gold core was first restored, and then his broken body began to grow again. In just the time it took for an incense stick to burn, he was completely unharmed and came back to life. Thank you for saving my life, Senior. The wounded man was moved to tears. It's nothing much, it's not worth mentioning. Even though your life has been saved, your foundation is still damaged. Within 10 years, you must not use your magic power recklessly. You need to rest and recuperate. Bei Shi's face was full of seriousness as she warned the gold core realm cultivator. She did not put on any airs. Healing the wounded and dying was an extremely common thing in the long river of her life. After resting for a while, Bei Shi went to the next ICU and started to treat the next patient. Ancient Gods Lost Technique, God Heal. Under the illumination of Bei Shi's divine light, another deity transformation cultivator whose primordial spirit was half destroyed recovered in no time. Ancient Gods Lost Technique, God Heal. Ancient Gods Lost Technique, God Heal. Ancient Gods Lost Technique. Ning Fan's eyes revealed a strange expression. He did not expect to encounter an extremely miraculous lost technique of the ancient gods when he just arrived in Northern Heaven. People say that Northern Heaven respects techniques. This saying was indeed true. If he was in Eastern Heaven, it was extremely rare to encounter the lost technique of the ancient gods. However, that was all. After all, Bei Shi was just a fake ancient god. She did not cultivate the bloodline of the ancient gods. The destructive power of the lost technique of the ancient gods that she used was not enough to attract Ning Fan's attention. Compared to the time when he just arrived in Northern Heaven, he was now dressed cleanly. His appearance had already regained his usual elegant demeanor. After consuming more than 10 9 revolutions golden pills, Ning Fan decided to take a short rest and delay his treatment. While resting, he did not forget to gather information about Northern Heaven from the flowers, grass, branches and stones. Thus, when Bei Shi finished treating a batch of patients and passed by Ning Fan's ward in exhaustion, she saw such a strange scene. A handsome man was actually having a heart-to-heart talk with a potted flower like a fool. Awkward, 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 feeling the gaze of the young lady outside the ward, Ning Fan remained silent for a while. Then, he placed the potted flower back on the windowsill. After that, Ning Fan heard the young lady let out a faint sigh. That sigh was filled with immense sympathy. It's not easy for you either. After I finish treating all the heavily injured patients, I will come and help you. Just wait for me for a few days. Even if the entire world abandons you, I will never abandon you. Bei Shi sighed faintly and left. Ning Fan was left alone in the ward, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Am I being treated as a lunatic again? I actually won the sympathy of this young lady. Even if the entire world abandons you, I will never abandon you. Such mushy words of love were used to comfort a lunatic. Ning Fan could not bring himself to laugh. In the blink of an eye, it had been 5 days since Ning Fan arrived in Northern Heaven. Under the treatment of a large amount of 9 revolutions pills, Ning Fan's injuries had already recovered by 30%. Out of the 1,000 plus patients that were arranged to stay here, Bei Shi had already treated more than 400 of them. As for the remaining patients, most of their lives were no longer in danger. As long as there was enough time, Bei Shi was confident that she could make all of them recover. Under such circumstances, Bei Shi finally had the space to deal with Ning Fan's problem. That was her plan. However, who would have thought that another cultivation planet near the true flame planet of the Chu clan would be attacked by a beast tide at this critical moment? It was the 14th beast tide that the Chu clan had encountered within their territory. Another large group of refugees and injured patients were brought back to the Chu clan by Daoist Chu. Without a choice, Bei Shi could only treat the newly arrived cultivators who were on the verge of death first. She had no choice but to put Ning Fan's problem at the back of her mind. She really wanted to give some care to the mentally ill patients. Unfortunately, she was too busy. She was so busy that she could only pass by Ning Fan's ward for a short period of time every day. She was so busy that she did not even have time to greet Ning Fan. Every time she passed by Ning Fan's ward, she would steal a glance at him to see what he was chatting with today. She remembered that Ning Fan was chatting with the dog-tail grass the day before yesterday. 3 days ago, Ning Fan seemed to be chatting with mud. Yesterday, he was chatting with a moss. Today, Ning Fan picked up a mushroom from somewhere and he was actually chatting with it. A handsome young man chatting with a mushroom. Oh my God! That scene is just too beautiful. Bei Shi felt that her sympathy was about to overflow. When she has some free time, she must cure Ning Fan. She must. On the 15th day, she finally had some free time again. She decided to have a good chat with Ning Fan. She had prepared more than 20 sets of words to enlighten Ning Fan about his mental illness. She was even willing to sacrifice herself and play the role of a mushroom to have a deep conversation with Ning Fan. She had thought of all kinds of scenarios. However, she did not expect that when she passed by Ning Fan's ward again, Ning Fan was nowhere to be seen. Where did he go? Without any reason, Bei Shi felt a sense of loss. She didn't even have the time to treat Ning Fan, but he left. However, Bei Shi was never a sentimental person. Ning Fan's departure was just an insignificant small wave in her life. She still had too many things to do. After she cured a large number of patients, the young clan leader of the Chu clan sent someone to look for her. Miss Shi. Something bad has happened. Our Chu clan is about to face a great calamity. The young clan leader ordered me to invite you to the True Flame Hall to discuss the urgent military situation. Looking at the anxious messenger of the Chu clan, Bei Shi's beautiful face changed. She hurriedly followed the messenger to the True Flame Hall of the Chu clan. Ning Fan was unaware of all these. At this moment, he had already cured most of his injuries and left the Chu clan. He could not cure the remaining injuries because his body was obstructed by the formless seal of the immortal sovereign of the Antiquity era. In order to fully recover, he needed to break the seal in his body. To do so, he needed external help. The reason why Ning Fan left the Chu clan now was to look for external help. During these days, he stayed in the Chu clan. Other than healing his injuries, he also inquired about a lot of information about the Northern Heaven. Thus, he had a preliminary understanding of the war situation in the Northern Heaven. The situation in the Northern Heaven was indeed much more serious than the Eastern Heaven. One should know that when Ning Fan was fighting in the Eastern Boundary River, he was only facing a small force of the foreign race. The true experts of the foreign race were all sealed under the water. They did not have a direct confrontation with the cultivators of the Eastern Heaven at all. Even so, the Eastern Heaven side was still losing ground. If it wasn't for Ning Fan turning the tide and successfully repairing the immortal sovereign seal, the Eastern Heaven would probably fall into the enemy's hands. The situation in the Northern Heaven was even more serious than the Eastern Heaven. According to the information, the seal on the surface of the Northern Boundary River had already been completely broken tens of years ago. The foreign races at the Quasi-Saint realm could get out of the water at any time. The entire Northern Boundary River had truly become the territory of the foreign races. No cultivators of the Northern Heaven dared to run wild in the Northern Boundary River. Even the Quasi-Saints of the Northern Heaven did not dare to go there alone. The foreign races that the cultivators of the Northern Heaven were facing had mobilized their entire army and had Quasi-Saints of the foreign races participating in the war. There was also a rumor that there was an ancient great demon similar to the blood god Gung Wu in the army of the foreign races in the Northern Boundary River. Countless cultivators of the Northern Heaven were eaten alive by that great demon. If it wasn't for the Four Meridians sect who asked the secret races of the Northern Heaven to take action and fought against the foreign races 11 times at the border of the Northern Boundary River, the Northern Heaven might have already fallen into the enemy's hands. After 11 bloody battles, the cultivators of the Northern Heaven paid a heavy price even though they managed to fend off the foreign race's army with great difficulty. There were 11 immortal Emperor realm experts on the Northern Heaven side, and even 2 of their quasi-saints had their cultivation base reduced. Fortunately, when the cultivators of the Northern Heaven were almost in despair, an eyeball monster of mysterious origin suddenly joined the Northern Heaven's camp with an innate bow spirit. They helped the cultivators of the Northern Heaven to temporarily repel the great demon of the foreign races. The entire world was shocked. No one knew the origin of that eyeball monster. However, some people claimed that the eyeball monster was a great cultivator from the ancient times. With the addition of the eyeball monster, the Northern Heaven finally had some confidence in facing the army of the foreign races. However, good times didn't last long. In just a few years, another thunderbolt fell from the sky and shocked the cultivators of the Northern Heaven. The Devil Conferral Summit that had disappeared in the long river of history had reappeared. Moreover, the Devil Conferral Summit had actually reached some kind of alliance with the foreign races of the Boundary River and threatened to destroy the Northern Heaven together. Those old monsters, which one of them wasn't afraid of the ominous name of the Devil Conferral Summit? One had to know that the Devil Conferral Summit wasn't an ordinary power. It was an existence that was equally famous as the 10 great secret races. Only with the 10 secret races added together could they be compared to the ancient Devil Conferral Summit. Even if the Northern Heaven had 3 secret races, could the 3 secret races defeat the Devil Conferral Summit? No one believed this. Regarding the invasion of the Devil Conferral Summit, none of the cultivators of the Northern Heaven had the confidence to face it. Even the strong secret races felt panicked and lost. Pessimists even thought that as long as the Devil Conferral Summit got involved in this war, the Northern Heaven would completely fall within 10 years or even less. As a result, on the Northern Sky side, a faction of surrendering began to appear. They suggested that the Northern Sky cultivators directly surrender to the outsiders and the allied forces of the Devil Conferral Summit. They hoped that through a certain degree of concession and sacrifice, the Northern Sky cultivators would continue to exist. This kind of public opinion of surrendering became the mainstream of Northern Sky's cultivators. But what made the surrendering faction feel awkward was that after the Devil Conferral Summit appeared, they didn't directly participate in the war or attack Northern Sky. Instead, they used the Devil's Cavity as a method to occasionally release strange race beast tides towards Northern Sky. They seem to want to use this kind of small method to obstruct Northern Sky's cultivators. This matter didn't conform to the Demon Conferral Summit style of massacring a whole world at the slightest disagreement, causing the Northern Sky to be puzzled no matter how hard they thought about it. However, it was also because of this that Northern Sky was still able to struggle at death's door. They had not been completely defeated by the Demon Conferral Summit and the foreign races. Ancient Heavenly Courts, Demon Manor, Devil Conferral Summit, 10 Great Secret Clans. Ning Fan's expression turned grim. He silently recalled the 4 strongest forces in the illusionary world 1 billion years ago. Ning Fan did not dare to underestimate the intervention of the Devil Conferral Summit. 1 Devil Conferral Summit was equivalent to 10 secret clans. This statement was definitely not a joke. It must not be taken lightly, however, the Devil Conferral Summit had once disappeared from the long river of history. Now that it has reappeared in this world again, it might not necessarily retain its former strength. Many of the devils of the Devil Conferral Summit in the past had also died in the long river of time. This is something that I can be sure of. The reason why the Devil Conferral Summit didn't directly join the war is probably because their strength has been weakened. They want to preserve their strength to a certain extent and watch the battle between Northern Sky and the foreign races. Of course, it's also possible that the Devil Conferral Summit's unreasonable behavior has some kind of scheme behind it. The cultivators of Northern Sky only know that the Devil Conferral Summit and the Devil Conferral Summit have joined forces. However, they don't know that there are also secret clans like the Dark Race who have defected to the foreign races. If this matter is spread out, I'm afraid that the surrendering faction of Northern Sky will be even more determined to surrender to the enemy. The one who helped the cultivators of Northern Sky to fight against the foreign races should be Senior Eyeball. As expected, he couldn't just sit and watch when Northern Sky is in danger. What's strange is that there isn't any news about Master Wangu among the information I obtained. This doesn't match my previous speculation. Is Master Wangu really in Northern Sky? If he is, where would he be now? Ning Fan's brows were tightly knitted together. His mind was filled with speculations. It's useless to think too much about it. In the end, a war needs to be fought with force. Therefore, the most important thing now is to break the seal in my body, heal all my injuries and restore my peak strength. Only when I'm at my peak can I have a slight impact on the situation in Northern Sky. The current me isn't enough. There are several ways to break the formless seal. Among them, the fastest way is to absorb external energy and break the seal. Before coming to Northern Sky, I had asked Old Wu for the star map of Northern Sky. According to the star map, Old Wu's nest, the Black Fate sect, is hidden somewhere in the starry sky not far away from the Chu clan. According to Old Wu, there is a giant corpse of Sin Li hidden in the Black Fate sect. To me, this item is of great use. It can allow me to truly cultivate the Fu Li Yin Yang. Now, I can absorb the energy of that corpse and break the formless seal. It's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Without Old Wu's guidance, it's almost impossible for others to find the entrance of the Black Fate sect star world. Even if they find it, they might not dare to enter. The 2 words Dark Fate are the greatest curse in the world. However, this curse can't scare me. Qi Ning Fan turned into a ray of light and searched in the starry sky. Along the way, he passed by the White Fate planet where the beast tide broke out that day and the Turtle Immortal planet where Taoist Chu held a lecture. After flying for an unknown period of time, he suddenly stopped at a certain place in the starry sky. Then, he took out the treasure-searching compass and determined his direction. After a long time, he suddenly locked onto a certain direction and drew out the ocean-defying sword. Then, he thrust the sword downwards. A strange scene appeared. The ocean-defying sword was clearly piercing into the void space which was dark and lightless. However, the spot where it pierced suddenly erupted with dazzling starlight. Moreover, an incomparably huge 9-winged black tortoise totem appeared in the starry sky. It seems like I've found the right place. This is the entrance of the Black Fate Sect star world that old Wu mentioned. Qi Ning Fan used his index finger to point at a few key spots on the black tortoise totem from afar. As he pointed at the correct spots, the totem gradually turned from illusory to solid, turning into a giant door made of starlight. Then, the giant door opened. Black smoke billowed out from the door and swept towards Ning Fan. That was the power of dark fate. Even if an ordinary old monster of the northern sky possessed the cultivation base of a quasi-saint realm expert, he would have to retreat if he was suddenly attacked by such a large-scale dark fate. However, Ning Fan was different. He was a cultivator of black fate, a member of the Fu Li sect. He was the filthiest person in the world. Why would he be afraid of dark fate? Devour. Ning Fan opened his 7-colored great umbrella of luck and directly devoured the billowing dark fate. Theoretically, the reverse Big Dipper divine ability that was passed down in the Slaughter Palace could only help cultivators cultivate 7-colored luck. However, under Ning Fan's modification, his great umbrella of luck could continue to grow stronger through devouring. 7-colored luck was not its limit. After a round of devouring, the luster of Ning Fan's great umbrella of luck became even more dazzling. He used the umbrella to protect the top of his head and calmly stepped into the territory of the Black Fate sect. At the moment he stepped inside, the giant door closed. Some busybodies were attracted by the fluctuations of this place. However, they arrived too late and could not see anything. All they could do was to stare and sigh. The Black Fate sect was a great taboo in the northern sky. Be it the former old ancestor Black Fate or the current owner of the Dark Fate sect, Old Wu Ba, both of them were well-known figures. They were existences that even the secret races were not willing to offend. As the master of Old Wu Ba, the treasures of the Black Fate sect were Ning Fan's treasures. Ning Fan had long wanted to plunder the lands of the Black Fate sect. Now that he had arrived at the territory of the Black Fate sect in the northern sky, he naturally did not plan to return empty-handed. As soon as he entered the Black Fate sect, Ning Fan sensed a massive aura occupying a corner of the sect. If he was not mistaken, the owner of that aura was none other than the giant corpse of Sin Li that Old Wu had mentioned. Master. The demonic chi here makes Black Devil feel uneasy. Black Devil, I'm afraid. Little Cat's nervous voice resounded in Ning Fan's mind. As the 9 raccoon that was ranked 4th in the Dao Hun clan and a member of the royal clan, Little Cat's eyes had always been high and mighty. She was not afraid of anything in the heavens or the earth. However, now that she was facing the evilly giant corpse that had died countless years ago, she felt a little nervous. Is this the might of the Fu Li clan? Ning Fan faintly felt that he seemed to have underestimated the Fu Li clan in the past. When this clan was at its peak, their strength might be extremely terrifying. Don't be afraid. There won't be any danger. Ning Fan comforted her. But Black Devil can't suppress the fear in her heart. Master, can you hug Black Devil? She actually wants a hug. Ning Fan was slightly speechless. However, when he thought about it again, he realized that this little cat was rarely this helpless. If that was the case, he should indeed comfort her a little. Thus, he released Black Devil. Black Devil, who was in the form of a young girl, immediately squeezed into Ning Fan's arms and turned into a little cat whose fur was standing on end. I really don't know what to do with you. Ning Fan patted Black Devil's little head and smoothed out all her fur. Perhaps Black Devil finally found a sense of security in Ning Fan's arms. She curled up into a ball lazily and fell asleep in Ning Fan's arms. Seeing that Black Devil was no longer afraid, Ning Fan felt relieved and walked towards where the evilly giant corpse was. Along the way, he kept devouring the dark luck in this place. Not long after, the enormous dark luck that had been lingering in this place for countless years was completely devoured by Ning Fan's big umbrella of luck. Didn't they say that not even quasi-saints would dare to step into this place? Very soon, Ning Fan arrived in front of the evil Li giant corpse. It was a evil Li that had died countless years ago. It was a gigantic black tortoise with 9 wings. Ning Fan was hesitant because this evil Li had been dead for many years. He could not accurately determine the time of its death and its cultivation base before it died. However, he could tell that this evil Li was at least an existence that was infinitely close to the 3rd step when it was alive. It was not an ordinary evil Li. It was the ancestor of evil Li. Evil Li was the sinner of the Fu Li clan. It was the slave of the clan. As for the ancestor of evil Li, it was the strongest evil Li of the same generation. Master, all of a sudden, an excited voice resounded in Ning Fan's ears. It was the voice of the evil Li giant corpse. It was the voice of the bloodline that only the members of the Fu Li clan could hear. Master. Li Chen knows his mistake. Is Li Chen the name of this evil Li when it was alive? Li Chen knows his mistake. Master. Please destroy my broken corpse, and grant me freedom. This evil Li giant corpse was begging Ning Fan to destroy its broken corpse. He wanted to be freed. He knew that he was wrong. Ning Fan remained silent. He did not know what kind of mistakes this Li Chen had committed when it was alive. Today, he was here to devour the power of this evil Li giant corpse. Naturally, he would not mind freeing him and destroying his corpse. Li Chen knows his mistake. Master, please forgive me. Please grant me freedom. The evil Li giant corpse was still begging. He could feel that if he misses out on Ning Fan, it would be difficult for him to wait for the next Fu Li demon ancestor to grant him freedom and cleanse his sins. All right. With the order of the Fu Li demon ancestor, I grant you freedom from today onwards. Thank you. Master, the voice of the bloodline no longer sounded. Finally, it fell into a deep slumber. As for the evil Li giant corpse, it began to decay at an astonishing speed. It only dared to dissipate because Ning Fan allowed it to. In just 10 breaths of time, the evil Li giant corpse turned into a skeleton. In another 10 breaths of time, even the skeleton was eroded to the point that nothing was left. At the original spot, there was only the stench of the rotting corpse and the huge amount of blood essence of the Fu Li clan. Of course, Ning Fan would not let the bloodline of the Fu Li clan dry up. All the evil Li clan members were Fu Li clan members who had committed crimes. Their bloodline was also the Fu Li clan's bloodline in essence. It was Ning Fan's first time finding such a high-grade Fu Li blood essence. How could he waste it? For the next 7 days, Ning Fan continued to devour the blood essence of the Fu Li clan in this place. 7 days later, Ning Fan suddenly stood up. The ancestral blood of the Fu Li clan had increased by 1 drop. He had truly succeeded in cultivating the Fu Li yin-yang divine art. Even though the ancient demon's cultivation base was still at the 3rd tribulation of the eternal era, the total amount of magic power he possessed had increased by around 200 tribulations, causing Ning Fan's total magic power to reach an astonishing 13,700 tribulations. It's a pity. That evil Li ancestor has passed away for too long. Even though the blood essence in his body has yet to dry up, it's not much different from being dried up. If it wasn't for that, my ancient demon cultivation base would definitely be able to improve even more. Ning Fan felt a little regretful. What he did not know was that those who had magic power beyond 10,000 tribulations in the Dharma ending era were basically all quasi-saint realm old monsters. If these old monsters wanted to increase their magic power by 200 tribulations without any continuation, they would need at least tens of millions of years of hard cultivation. It could be said that after 10,000 tribulations, every tiny improvement would be a huge leap in the quasi-saint realm. Increasing his magic power by 200 tribulations in 7 days. If there was any quasi-saint realm old monster who had such an encounter, he would wake up smiling even in his dreams instead of being as discontented as Ning Fan. Of course, the total amount of a quasi-saint realm expert's magic power was not the deciding factor. Besides, the strength of one's magic power did not only depend on the quantity but also the quality. Ning Fan's total magic power was certainly frightening. However, because his cultivation base had been advancing too quickly in recent years, the purity of his magic power was rather low. However, there was one thing that Ning Fan was still very satisfied with. The formless seal in his body had finally been completely broken by the external impact of the Fu Li ancestors' blood essence. After another 5 days, Ning Fan had fully recovered from all the injuries in his body. Currently, he had completely recovered to his peak state. Since that's the case, I'll leave after I'm done looting the treasury of the Black Fate sect. With Ning Fan's current wealth, he no longer had much expectations for the treasury of the Black Fate sect. He conveniently took all the treasures that old Wu Ba and his disciples had kept for many years and left. After returning to the starry sky of the northern heaven, Ning Fan was thinking about where he should go next. All of a sudden, he seemed to have sensed something and looked in the direction of the Chu clan's true flame star. At this moment, he saw that the starry sky of the entire star region was dyed red by the fiery light. The Chu clan seems to be in trouble. Chapter 1178. The Chu family was in trouble. At this moment, an arrogant red-clad old man was attacking the Chu family's true flame star all by himself. The old man's Taoist name was Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch, and he was a famous figure in Northern Heaven. He was a three-tribulation celestial king, and his Tao of fire had reached the acme of perfection. As the aftermath of the battle spread out, even the void starry sky was burned by the flames. A three-tribulation immortal king wasn't something that the Chu clan could contend against. Even if the Chu clan's Taoist Chu had the cultivation of an immortal venerable, the result would still be the same. Humph! Taoist Chu, stop resisting stubbornly. You're not my match. Even if you and all the cultivators of your Chu clan join forces, you're still not my match. You ought to be able to discern that I've already shown mercy to your Chu clan. After all, I haven't killed a single member of your Chu clan since I attacked until now. However, if you still refuse this old man's request, don't blame this old man for being ruthless. Hand over Bei Shi. There was a hint of impatience in Immortal Scarlet Flame's voice. Every time he swung his hand, hundreds or even thousands of Chu family cultivators would be sent flying. Immortal Scarlet Flame's flames burned them. Taoist Chu groaned inwardly. He knew that he was no match for the Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord. However, as the strongest person in the Chu clan and the only eternal immortal lord in the Chu clan, he had no choice but to face the Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord head-on. Bei Shi was an important guest of the Chu family. They could not hand her over to the Red Flame Immortal Lord no matter what. Qi Yan, you've fallen. Bei Shi is the eldest miss of the Lost World Palace. How dare you use her life to claim credit from the Realm Beast clan? You're shameless. Taoist Chu cursed. I'm shameless. Humph. The foundation of the realm beasts was not much weaker than that of the mystic races. If we sacrifice Bei Shi, we can befriend the realm beast clan and ask them to help us in the border river. This will be of great benefit to our northern sky. It's rare that the young clan leader of the Jia clan has taken a liking to this girl and wants to take her as his cauldron. This is Bei Shi's fortune and also her responsibility as the eldest miss of the Lost World Palace. How can she reject it? The Scarlet Flame Immortal sneered. Responsibility? Do you really think that I don't know about the power struggle in the Lost World Palace after staying in the heaven-avoiding coffin for so long? Scarlet Flame. I don't care how much benefits the great elder of the Lost World Palace gave you to suppress Palace Mistress Yuan Yao and her daughter. I only care about one thing. Our Chu clan will never allow outsiders to bully and humiliate our esteemed guests. We will not allow our own people to kill each other at this critical juncture of the survival of the realm. Humph. A mere one tribulation celestial venerable dares to spout nonsense in front of a three tribulation celestial king like me? You really don't know your place. Do you have the ability to stop this old man? Qi Yan said disdainfully. Whether you have the ability or not, I will stop you. Unseal the exploding flame sword. Daoist Chu patted his storage bag and took out an ancient scarlet copper sword. He tore off all the seals on the ancient sword. In an instant, the aura of the ancient sword that was originally in a sealed state recovered bit by bit. The scorching sword chi that reached the 12th nirvana post-celestial level swept across the starry sky. A 12 nirvana post-celestial sword, huh? Interesting. Unfortunately, your cultivation is too weak. You want to rely on a 12 nirvana immortal sword to surpass 2 levels to defeat me? That's no different from the ravings of a lunatic. I'll say it one last time. Hand over Bei Shi, or else don't blame me for severely injuring you. Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord said in a low voice. Cauldron breaking technique. That was Daoist Chu's final reply. At this moment, an extremely tyrannical sword intent burst out from Daoist Chu's body. That was a kind of desperate sword intent. Just like its name, it had the momentum of cutting off all means of retreat and sinking the boat. Even the incomparably arrogant Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord was momentarily moved by that sword strike. Because the power of that sword strike was actually infinitely close to the full power of a 3 tribulation immortal king. Was this a strike that a 1 tribulation immortal venerable could unleash? What a pity. Even if you have the cultivation of a 2nd tribulation immortal venerable, I wouldn't dare to take that strike head-on. But who told you to be only a 1 tribulation immortal venerable? Today, this old man will let you see how huge the difference between a 3 tribulation and a 1 tribulation is. For tribulation immortal technique, Fire God descends. With a spell, Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord activated the unique immemorial true body of the 4 tribulation sect, Fire God descends. His entire body turned into a 300-meter tall flaming giant. With a huge palm strike, flames condensed in his palm. With the power to overturn the starry sky, he smashed Daoist Chu's all-out strike. Another palm strike broke Daoist Chu's 12 nirvana bursting flame swords into 2. The third palm strike made Daoist Chu vomit blood and fly backward. Along the way, he smashed several abandoned stars. Defeated. As the strongest expert of the Chu clan, Daoist Chu couldn't even take 3 palm strikes from Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord's true body. He was defeated too quickly. All the cultivators of the Chu clan were extremely shocked by this scene. When they looked at Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord again, their eyes were filled with deep fear. Those young cultivators of the Chu clan who regarded Daoist Chu as a god in their hearts were all in a trance. At this moment, they lost their lofty belief. The young clan leader of the Chu clan looked up at Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord with a defeated expression. Usually, he was known as the outstanding talent of the northern sky. But in front of a real expert, the so-called outstanding talent was not worth mentioning at all. Chu clan was known as the top force of the northern sky. However, they were defeated by an immortal king without any power to fight back. After today, the reputation of the Chu clan would be completely ruined. I'm sorry, Miss Bei Shi. It seems that my Chu clan can't protect you anymore. Daoist Chu couldn't even stand. His injuries were frighteningly serious. He was carried back to True Flame Star by a few elders of the Chu clan. Along the way, he coughed blood and looked dispirited. No, I'm the one who should apologize. If it wasn't to protect me, so many people of the Chu clan wouldn't have been injured by Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord. Senior wouldn't have been so seriously injured either. Bei Shi will never forget the kindness of the Chu clan today. Senior, please don't worry. Bei Shi will not let anyone of the Chu clan get hurt because of this matter. Bei Shi sighed guiltily. She flew up to the starry sky and flew towards Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord. Seeing that this woman had finally appeared, Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord released his ancient true body and said disdainfully, "Little slut, you're finally willing to show yourself. Hiding your head but showing your tail. You're indeed the same as your mother." What an ear-piercing title. It was also an insult to her mother. Beishir's beautiful eyes were filled with anger. However, she didn't dare to refute at this moment. She bit her lips so hard that blood dripped down. She didn't dare to anger Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord. She was afraid that she would bring more trouble to the Chu clan. "I can go with Senior, but please let the Chu clan go," Beishir begged. "You're worrying too much. Even if you don't say it, I won't really start a massacre in the Chu clan. If I really do that, the heavenly laws won't let me go. The 4C sect won't let me go either. This is not the eastern sky where there's a war. Who would dare to destroy the northern heaven slaughter sect? I'm not an exception. My target is only you," Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord said coldly. "If my mother knows that I've been schemed against by you and given to the Realm clan, she will definitely take revenge for me." Beishir gritted her teeth and said, "Ha! Your mother is just a small shikong. She's the Palace Lord of the Lost World Palace in name. In reality, she's just a puppet-like existence. Her real power is too small. You want to find a third Tribulation Immortal King to take revenge? Stop joking." Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord laughed loudly. Beishir remained silent. She knew that nothing she said could change her fate. She would be captured by Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord and given to the young clan leader of the Realm Beast clan as a cauldron. It was rumored that all the women who were taken by the young clan leader of the Realm Beast clan could not live for more than 3 days. Basically, they would be plucked and turned into dried corpses. Was this her fate? It was obvious that the Northern Heaven was facing the invasion of the foreign clans. It was a matter of life and death. Yet, there were still people who were fighting for power and wealth, disregarding the dangers of the world, compared to those Northern Heaven soldiers who were fighting bravely at the front line of the Boundary River. Those who were still busy fighting for power and wealth were really too shameless. If my mother and my sisters knew that I'm dead, they would probably be very sad. Alright, follow this old man to the Realm clan. Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord stretched out his big hand, wanting to grab Beishir and leave. At this moment, rain suddenly fell from the starry sky. The cold raindrops fell on the back of his hand. It was so cold that it seeped into his bones and chilled his heart. Moreover, a ghost-faced silver-haired figure suddenly appeared in front of Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord along with the rain. He easily shielded Beishir behind him, causing his hand to miss. "You are." Of course, Beishir could not recognize this ghost-faced silver-haired figure in front of her. However, she did not know why she felt that this person's back was a little familiar. It was as if she had seen him somewhere these few days. She could not see the cultivation aura of this ghost-faced cultivator. Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord could not see it either. No one could see it. No one knew where this ghost-faced silver-haired cultivator came from, what his cultivation level was, and how he appeared here out of nowhere. No one could see how this person appeared. "Who are you? Could it be that you want to obstruct my Realm clan's work?" Facing the ghost-faced immortal cultivator in front of him, Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord could not figure out the other party's origin. Out of habit, he brought up the Realm Beast clan, wanting to shock the other party. Realm clan? Which Realm clan? One of the Northern Heaven's secret clans. The ghost-masked man deliberately made his voice sound old and hoarse. He heard that there were 3 secret clans in the Northern Heaven. He had inquired about 2 of them, the Purple Clan and the Light Clan. As for the third one, he had not inquired about the name of the Northern Heaven's secret clan. Secret clan? Humph. You're really ignorant and inexperienced. The Realm clan is not a secret clan. However, its power is not much weaker than the secret clan. Its full name is the Realm Beast clan. The Realm Beast clan. I seem to have some impression of it. The ghost-masked man looked like he was reminiscing. He vaguely remembered that the realm beast had offended him when he was in the lower domain. In short, I can let bygones be bygones if you back off now. However, if you really want to interfere with my realm clan's business, don't blame me for being ruthless. As he spoke, Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord went around the ghost-masked man and reached out his hand to grab Bayshur again. However, he only managed to grab an afterimage. The ghost-masked man actually moved at a speed that he could not see clearly. In an instant, he brought Bayshur and flew 100 feet away. What a terrifying speed! I'm a dignified immortal king, but I can't see how he moves. Could this person be a ghost? Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord felt his scalp go numb. He vaguely felt that this ghost-masked man was not someone to be trifled with. However, he had received a bribe from the Great Elder of the Lost World Palace and wanted to kill Bayshur. There was no reason for him to give up halfway. As long as you hand this woman over to me, you will be my friend from today onwards. Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord said solemnly. You're just a third tribulation realm cultivator. What right do you have to be my friend? What? Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord felt that he had been greatly insulted. It was one thing for him to be afraid of the ghost-masked man. It was another thing for him to be angered after being insulted. As for the name Zhao Jian, I seem to have heard of it somewhere, forget it. Since I don't remember it well, it must not be an important name. I'll kill this Zhao Jian. Eternal True Body, Descent of the Fire God. Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord did not dare to be careless in the face of the ghost-masked man. He immediately activated his Eternal True Body and his aura rose to the peak of the Third Tribulation Immortal King realm. After activating his Eternal True Body, Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord seemed to have gained a lot of confidence. When he faced the ghost-masked man again, his tone became much more arrogant. I'll say it again. Hand this woman over to me or I don't mind roasting you into a human jerky. The ghost-masked man's eyes turned cold. It had been a long time since he heard such threatening words. Those who dared to threaten him were all dead. Moreover, didn't the Northern Heavenly Law say that immortals were not allowed to kill each other? This Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord actually wanted to roast him into a human jerky. Hee, this is really interesting. It turns out that the so-called Heavenly Law is not worth mentioning in front of a true expert. I heard that the Heavenly Law of the Four Meridians sect is controlling the Northern Heavenly Law. Initially, I didn't want to kill anyone. However, your words have changed my mind. If you don't scram within 3 breaths, you will die. The ghost-masked man said ruthlessly. What? Did I hear wrongly? Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord was stunned for a moment. Then, he laughed loudly. He did not believe that the ghost-masked man could kill him. He also did not believe that the ghost-masked man would dare to kill him. I'm a 4th grade middle grade heavenly supervisor of the Four Meridians sect. Who are you? How dare you talk nonsense to me? If you don't scram within 3 breaths, you will die. I'm not going to scram. Not only that, I'm going to roast you into a human jerky. Descending of the Fire God, 10 consecutive palm strikes. Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord made his move. Using his Eternal True Body, he instantly launched 10 consecutive palm strikes at the ghost-masked man. He could defeat Tao Master Chu in an instant with 3 palm strikes. Even a 4th Tribulation Immortal King would have to spend some effort to defend against 10 palm strikes. His attack was not weak, but he had chosen the wrong opponent. The ghost-masked man named Zhao Jian did not even bother to look at the Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch's attack. With a casual tribulation flash, the Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch was turned into ashes. Silence. The entire starry sky was dead silent. The Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch who killed Tao Master Chu with 3 palm strikes was actually killed by a mysterious ghost-masked man. This senior Zhao Jian is really powerful. He can actually kill a third tribulation immortal king with a single strike. Even a peak immortal king would not be able to do that. Could he be an immortal emperor with a hidden identity? Zhao Jian. What an unfamiliar name. It should be an alias. Is this senior Zhao Jian here to save our Chu clan? He's really a good person. Or perhaps this senior Zhao has some kind of relationship with the palace lord of the Lost World Palace. Did he specially come here to save the eldest miss of the Lost World Palace? The entire Chu clan was in an uproar. However, the ghost-masked man did not seem to be interested in all these. He was also not interested in how Bei Shi offended the Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch. He was also not interested in the Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch and his Jia clan background. Saving someone was just a matter of convenience. He did not ask for anything in return and there was no need to thank him. There was also no need to tell him his real identity or name. The ghost-masked man took a glance at the Chu clan and realized that many of them had been severely injured by the Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch. Although no one died, many of them had their foundations damaged. This is not good. Not good at all. Black Star Art. The ghost-masked man clasped his hands together. Countless black stars appeared in the starry sky. The surging black stars shone down on the entire True Flame Star. A miraculous scene happened. Under the illumination of the black stars, the injuries of the Chu clan's members recovered rapidly. Even Dao Master Chu, who was beaten half to death, recovered from his serious injuries to light injuries, and from light injuries to no injuries. He was now alive and kicking. What a shocking star art. This is not an ordinary star art. This is the Black Star Art. It's a top secret of the ancient heavenly court. The entire Chu clan was in a state of shock. After the shock, it was followed by an overwhelming chorus of gratitude. If not for the ghost-masked man, more than half of the Chu clan's members would be bedridden. How could they not thank him? Who is this person? He actually healed tens of thousands of injured members with a single move. His healing technique is countless times more powerful than my ancient god's lost technique. Bei Shi was so shocked that she could not close her mouth. However, the ghost-masked man obviously did not have the time to care about the dumbfounded Bei Shi. Instead, he took a deep look in the direction of True Flame Star and the Chu clan. This time, he was not looking at the Chu clan or Dao Master Chu. Instead, he was looking at the Chu clan's young clan head, Chu Yuran. Young clan head is about to break through to the mysterious life immortal realm. Not bad, shock. Everyone was shocked. This senior Zhao Jian actually spoke. Furthermore, he was speaking to the Chu clan's young clan head. He was praising the Chu clan's young clan head's cultivation progress. From Senior Zhao's tone, could it be that he actually knows our young clan head? Could it be that he really appreciates our young clan head? Chu Yuran was completely dumbfounded. How lowly was his identity? Occasionally, he would carry out a mission from the Four Lions sect and go to the 9 worlds of the lower world. Perhaps he could still be considered a powerful figure. However, in the northern heaven, he was definitely an ant. An ant like him was actually praised by Senior Zhao, who was suspected to be an immortal emperor. What an honor! For a moment, Chu Yuran was so excited that he was speechless. I obtained these Dao fruits from killing people by chance. Take them. I'm sure that you will be able to break through to the life immortal realm in a few days. The devil-masked man named Zhao Jian flicked his finger. A stream of light landed lightly in Chu Yuran's hand. It was a storage bag filled with Dao fruits. The lowest Dao fruits inside were life immortal Dao fruits. There were even truth-crossing Dao fruits. So many Dao fruits. Not to mention breaking through to the life immortal realm, it is enough for me to advance a few steps in the human profound realm. Thank you, Senior, for your reward. Chu Yuran was overjoyed. He was about to kneel down in the direction of the devil-masked man. However, the devil-masked man would certainly not allow Chu Yuran to kneel down. The reason why he gave Chu Yuran the Dao fruits was to repay the friendship of the past. The friendship between gentlemen was as indifferent as water. At this moment it was not convenient for him to reveal his identity. He also did not want to expose the friendship of the past. As long as he could help Chu Yuran a little, it would be enough. As for kneeling down to thank him, it would be too much. Chu Yuran wanted to kowtow again. However, the next moment, a telepathic message entered his ears. It was so shocking that he could not continue kowtowing. "I am an old friend. Don't expose me," it was a simple telepathic message. The voice was not that of an old man. It was his original voice. Chu Yuran was very familiar with this voice. However, he was shocked and felt that it was inconceivable. It's him. It's actually him. It's that little cultivator from the rain world. It's that old demon Han's disciple from the lower world. But how is this possible? How many years have passed since then? Has that little cultivator already ascended from the rain world? Ascended to the northern heaven? Is he already strong enough to kill a three-tribulation immortal king? This is impossible. Impossible. But these words, this voice, Yuran, what happened? Why do you look so strange? Chu Yuran's father, the head of the Chu family, asked with concern. No, it's nothing. I was suddenly recognized by this senior Zhao. I'm just a little shocked. Chu Yuran did not expose the identity of the devil-masked man. This is my son's fortune. It's my son's honor and also the Chu family's honor to be injured by such a powerful senior. Where's that senior Zhao? He left, after the devil-masked man did his good deed, he left. Doing good without leaving your name, you really have the demeanor of an immortal hero. Daoist Chu was full of praise for the devil-masked man. Suddenly, he thought of something, and his expression changed drastically. Zhao Jian. Zhao Jian. Wasn't this name listed in the top secret of the Four Fish Sect's Vermilion Scroll? It was not strange that ordinary people did not know this name, because the Four Meridians sect was very strict with this kind of top secret and would never leak it out. However, as an ancient immortal lord, Daoist Chu had heard of some top secrets. Zhao Jian. Zhao Jian. Isn't this the name of the great cultivator who saved countless immortal emperors of the four heavens and the demon race during the calamity of the wildlands? Could it be that the devil-masked man who had just shown kindness to the Chu family was that senior? This news was too shocking. If this person was really that great cultivator Zhao Jian, perhaps he would be of great help to Northern Sky's crisis. This matter must be reported to the Four Meridians sect. Daoist Chu did not dare to delay and immediately went to handle this matter. As for how shocked the four primordial sects would be after hearing the news, it was not Ning Fan's concern. That's right. The devil-masked man who had saved Bei Shi and helped the Chu family was none other than Ning Fan. He had received many favors from the Chu family. Naturally, he would not allow the Chu family to be bullied by a mere Scarlet Flame immortal lord. However, considering that the situation in Northern Sky was very complicated, Ning Fan did not want the people of the Dark Race and the Devil Conferral Summit to know that he had come to Northern Sky from the Eastern Heaven. Now that the four heavens had been cut off from the news, ordinary cultivators of Northern Sky might not know what the title Lord of Massacre Palace, the King of Hell of the Eastern Heaven, meant. However, the people of the Devil Conferral Summit and the Dark Race certainly knew about it. If his enemies knew that he had come to Northern Sky, what awaited him would probably be endless pursuit. Ning Fan was not arrogant enough to think that he could survive the pursuit of the quasi-saints of the Dark Race and the Devil Conferral Summit. If that was the case, it was obviously more convenient and safer for him to act in the dark with another identity. Zhao Jian, an ancient great cultivator. There were three benefits to using this identity. Firstly, he could hide from the eyes and ears of the Devil Conferral Summit and the Dark Race. Secondly, during the calamity of the wildlands, Ning Fan had saved many immortal emperors of Northern Sky and the Four Profound Sects using the identity of Zhao Jian. This identity could make it easier for Ning Fan to act in Northern Sky. It could boost the morale of the Northern Sky and deter those who try to harm him. Thirdly, if the eyeball monster knows that Zhao Jian has come to Northern Sky, it would immediately know that it was Ning Fan. If I kill Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord with my identity, I will certainly get into a lot of trouble because I have violated the rules of Northern Sky. However, if Zhao Jian kills someone, I dare to bet that the immortal emperors of the Four Profound Sects will certainly not ask about this matter and punish me. In a certain empty space, Ning Fan removed the silver hair and ghost mask and changed back to his original appearance. Saving Bei Shi and helping the Chu family were just trivial matters in Ning Fan's eyes. What he was concerned about was the situation in Northern Sky. He was concerned about the safety of his women and friends in Northern Sky. What should I do next? Should I directly go to the Northern Border River to participate in the battle and support the cultivators of Northern Sky? Ning Fan shook his head and rejected this idea. What was the greatest danger in Northern Sky now? It was not the battle in the Northern Border River but the arrival of the Beast Tide. Without a doubt, the foreign races in the Border River were restricted by the Eyeball Monster and the others. They could not invade Northern Sky with their armies. Otherwise, the foreign races would not have gone through so much trouble to send the Beast Tide into Northern Sky with the help of the power of the ancient Devil Cavity. It was an invasion but also a sign of weakness. It showed that the foreign races did not have the absolute upper hand in the Border River. That was why they played some tricks at the rear of the cultivators of Northern Sky. One had to admit that these tricks were very deadly. Most of the strong cultivators of Northern Sky had gone to the Border River to participate in the battle. The cultivators at the rear were mostly old, weak, sick or disabled. Such a rear was invaded by the foreign races time and time again, causing them to suffer heavy losses. Just within the territory of the Chu family, there had been more than 10 Beast Tide invasions. More than 10 cultivation planets were destroyed by the foreign races. In the entire Northern Sky, at least thousands of cultivation planets had been destroyed. Countless cultivators of Northern Sky had died. If I can solve the problem of the Beast Tide invading the rear, it will undoubtedly be of great help to the front line. However, how should I solve this problem? The cultivation of the fate-reversing lightning technique can improve my divination and deduction abilities. If my Tao of divination can improve further, I will be able to predict when and where the Beast Tide will invade Northern Sky and take precautions. This is a solution but it doesn't solve the root of the problem. The foreign races need to borrow the power of the ancient Devil Cavity to send the Beast Tide. There must be a group of ancient devil experts who can use the Devil Cavity behind the foreign races. They are helping them to send the Beast Tide. If I can kill these ancient devils, it will undoubtedly solve the problem of the Beast Tide. However, these ancient devils are most likely hiding in the depths of the Northern Border River under the protection of the quasi-saints of the foreign races. Besides, those who can use the Devil Cavity are all peerless ancient devil experts. The difficulty of killing them is no less than fighting against the quasi-saints of the foreign races. My strength is still not enough. It seems like I need to improve my strength to better solve the problem at hand. Ning Fan remained silent for a while. Then, he suddenly took out the treasure-searching compass and searched it carefully. Then, he was greatly disappointed. He had once stolen a large amount of heavy wood in the eastern border river and concocted a large number of immeasurable pills, which made his strength skyrocket. This time, he planned to use the same trick again when he came to Northern Sky. However, after searching, Ning Fan helplessly realized that there were not many light spots of heavy wood in the direction of the northern border river. Northern Sky was different from Eastern Sky. The foreign races in Eastern Sky did not value the immeasurable pills. They would not use the heavy wood to concoct pills. They would just absorb the wood chi for cultivation. Thus, the Een heavy wood could be kept. However, the foreign races were not the only enemies in Northern Sky. There were also the Devil Conferral Summit and the Dark Race. The foreign races did not need the immeasurable pills, but the Devil Conferral Summit and the Dark Race did. The Een heavy wood in the northern border river seemed to have been taken away by someone in advance. I'm a step too late. Have they all fallen into the enemy's pocket? Ning Fan frowned. Without the Een heavy wood in the northern border river, Ning Fan would need to find another way to improve his strength quickly. Forget it. I'll go and see how my old friends in Northern Sky are doing first. It was not easy for him to come to Northern Sky. He was very concerned about how Bei Xiaoman and the others were doing. There was also the Black Devil sect. There was also Old Devil's best friend, Wei Xian. Speaking of which, Huluawei clan seemed to be in the next star region. Ning Fan took out the star map and his eyes were filled with nostalgia. When he was young, Wei Xian had taught him the Tao. It could be said that his talent in the Tao of formations was unlocked under Wei Xian's guidance. In a sense, Wei Xian could be said to be Ning Fan's half-master. Besides, Wei Xian was Old Devil's best friend. He had once fallen into the life immortal realm because of Old Devil. His foundation was destroyed forever and he became a void fragmentation realm cultivator in his later years. Old Devil could not return to Northern Sky for the time being. He could not repay Wei Xian's kindness. Ning Fan needed to repay all of these on behalf of his master. I'll go to the Wei clan and treat Senior Wei. With my current strength, it's not difficult to help Senior Wei recover his foundation and ascend to the life immortal realm again. Ning Fan had left for a long time. Bei Shi was still in a daze. Under the cover of the ghost mask, she could not see Ning Fan's appearance or sense his qi. However, she really felt that Ning Fan's back was inexplicably familiar. Zhao Jian. No. That's not right, no. That's not right. Unknowingly, strange scenes appeared in front of Bei Shi's eyes. Under the setting sun, a graceful young man was talking to the moss. That scene was too beautiful to behold. The morning breeze was warm and the young man went to chat with the mushroom again. That scene was breathtaking. Illusion. It must be an illusion. That young master mushroom is just a void fragmentation realm cultivator. How could he kill a third tribulation immortal king in an instant? I must be exhausted to have this illusion. Bei Shi did not know that what she thought was an illusion was actually a kind of intuition. It was a woman's intuition and it was correct. Of course, she did not have that much time to think about it. After the incident of Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch's abduction, the Palace Lord of the Lost World Palace, Yuan Yao, was furious. She sent someone to the Chu clan to fetch Bei Shi back to the palace. She was worried about leaving her eldest daughter alone outside. Especially during these troubled times. The competition between the three palaces is imminent. The Great Elder intends to harm you and your sisters. He will not give up until he succeeds. Return as soon as you receive the message. Bei Shi was shocked when she read her mother's message. The competition between the three palaces of the Lost World Palace has begun again. At this time when the entire realm is in danger. No wonder. No wonder the Qi Yan Immortal Monarch would come to harm me. Is it really for the sake of power? However, it was unknown if the power struggle between the East, North and West palaces of the Lost World Palace would involve all the sects in the Northern Heavens, in the Wei family of Heluo. Wei Xian had been in a bad mood recently because his position as the deacon of the Four Seas sect had been removed by the sect. In the past, the Wei family had offended a large number of forces in the Northern Heaven including the Pure Yang sect in order to protect Old Devil Han. That was why he was removed from his position. Settling the score after the fall is just a so-so. Brother Han, how are you doing in the Rain World? Looking at the time, your disciple Ning Fan should be ascending soon, right? Unfortunately, I have already been removed from my position as the Deacon of the Four Heavens. I can't provide much help to his ascension. Sigh. I wonder which of the 4 heavens he will ascend to. If it's the northern heaven, I will take care of your disciple even if I have to risk my old body. Wei Xian's face was filled with vicissitudes of life. Looking at the autumn leaves in the courtyard, he sighed. When people get old, they would love to reminisce. He recalled the time when he was young and roamed freely in the northern heaven with old Devil Han. Then, he recalled the time when he taught Ning Fan about formations in the rain world. In the past, he was like a tiger that could devour 10,000 li. Now, his heroic spirit has been reduced and his shoes are wet with the wind. Sigh. I'm getting old, master, there's a guest looking for you. Suddenly, a child ran towards them in a hurry and interrupted Wei Xian's sigh. Seeing the child's recklessness, Wei Xian subconsciously wanted to put on a stern face and teach him a lesson. As the saying goes, comparisons are odious. This child was his disciple. His aptitude was considered smart but his temperament was too impetuous. He was totally incomparable to old man Han's disciple who was calm and steady. However, after hearing the child's words, Wei Xian could not reprimand him anymore. Instead, he asked angrily. There's a guest looking for me. Is it someone from the Pure Yang sect again? Are they trying to find trouble with my Wei family? They have already visited us 3 times in the past month. No. This time, it's not someone from the Pure Yang sect. It's a void fragmentation realm cultivator who is looking for you. He said that he's an old friend of yours. The child explained. Void fragmentation realm? An old friend? Wei Xian was surprised and puzzled. He really could not think of a void fragmentation realm old friend who came to look for him. However, considering the other party's void fragmentation realm cultivation base, Wei Xian did not dare to neglect the other party too much. The Wei family could not be compared to the Chu family. They did not have an immortal venerable realm ancestral master. The highest cultivation base of the entire family was only at the life immortal realm. To such a small family, a void fragmentation realm expert was also considered as a distinguished guest. I wonder which void fragmentation realm expert of the northern heaven is looking for me. Wei Xian's face was filled with puzzlement and he went out to welcome the guest. The moment he saw the appearance of the guest, he was first shocked and then overjoyed. Little friend, you've finally ascended to the northern heaven. Good. You didn't let your master's teachings down. Ascended? Ning Fan was stunned for a moment and then burst into laughter. He was not a rookie who had just ascended to the upper world from the lower world. Senior Wei Xian seemed to have misunderstood something. Initially, he planned to explain to Wei Xian. However, at the next moment, he noticed the hidden injuries in his body. His eyes immediately turned grim. It was a new injury. It had been in this world for less than 10 years. Within 10 years, someone actually destroyed Wei Xian's foundation twice, causing his cultivation base to fall from the void fragmentation realm to the void refinement realm. Who did it? Ning Fan's eyes were terrifyingly cold. When he was young, Wei Xian was willing to sacrifice himself to help him increase his strength. Wei Xian was the old monster's brother and was even regarded as half a master by Ning Fan. Now that Wei Xian was bullied and his cultivation base was reduced for the second time, how could Ning Fan not be angry? Ah, it's just a small matter, Come in and drink some water. I haven't seen you for a long time. I wonder how you are doing. Wei Xian smiled bitterly and changed the topic. He did not explain much to Ning Fan. They were probably worried that Ning Fan who had just ascended to the northern heaven would be involved in the revenge of the first-rate forces in the northern heaven. Who did it? Ning Fan did not enter the room to drink the water but asked for the second time. Wei Xian felt warmth in his heart. He reached out his hand and patted Ning Fan's shoulder with a smile. I'm fine. Ning Fan no longer questioned Wei Xian. He knew that if Wei Xian did not want to implicate him, he would not say anything no matter what. However, the current him didn't need to care about those implications. In the entire northern sky, there were only a handful of powers that could make him worry. The person who hurt Wei Xian was obviously not one of them. Even if he was here, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Ning Fan squatted down and picked up a stone. Then, he asked some questions with a cold voice. Be it Wei Xian or his disciple, all of them were dumbfounded by the scene. They did not understand what Ning Fan was doing. After a while, Ning Fan stood up and said to Wei Xian. Senior, please wait for a moment. Junior is going to the Pure Yang sect. What? How do you know it's the Pure Yang sect? Wei Xian was extremely anxious. How could Ning Fan, a mere newbie who had just ascended, afford to offend the Pure Yang sect? One had to know that even the old devil who was incomparably arrogant in the past was greatly injured because he offended the Pure Yang sect. The current Pure Yang sect was even more different from the past. Different from the Wei clan which was declining day by day, the Pure Yang sect also had an ancient old monster who relied on the power of the heaven-evading coffin to ignore the passage of time and lived from ancient times until today. This was the unique characteristic of the northern heaven. It was also the reason why he firmly believed that Ning Fan could not afford to offend the Pure Yang sect. Newborn calves are not afraid of tigers. This brat probably doesn't even know what an ancient old monster is. It's a peak existence above the four heavens. A casual finger of theirs can crush the Wei clan of He Luo to death hundreds or thousands of times. Ning Fan, wait. You can't. What? Just as Wei Xian was about to stop Ning Fan from going to the Pure Yang sect, his expression suddenly changed. He saw Ning Fan summoning the ghost mask in front of Wei Xian. His silver hair danced wildly because of his anger. Then, he took a step forward and disappeared without a trace. Wei Xian could not see Ning Fan's movement technique at all. That speed was too fast, so fast that it was beyond Wei Xian's imagination. It was countless times faster than an immortal venerable old monster that he had met by chance. This brat, isn't it the void fragmentation realm? What? What realm has he actually cultivated to? Is he an immortal venerable? He's even an immortal king. Wei Xian was not stupid. Those who cultivated the Tao of formations were all extremely intelligent people. He had guessed a lot of things. For a moment, he was so shocked that he could not speak a word. Master, who is that senior? Is he the legendary ancient immortal venerable? Wei Xian's disciple looked at the starry sky enviously in the direction where Ning Fan left. Perhaps. Wei Xian was filled with emotions. Is he Master's friend? His disciple asked again. He is not a friend. He is the disciple of an old friend of mine. From this point of view, he is of the same generation as you. You can call him elder brother. Don't call him senior. With his personality, if you call him senior, he will blame you for being distant. Wei Xian saw through Ning Fan's personality with just a glance, just like how he saw through the old devil's personality with just a glance in the past. It's a lie, right? He is my elder brother. He is of the same generation as me. Wei Xian's disciple suffered a great blow. His impetuous personality was because he always felt that he was the heavens favored one of the younger generation. But today, he actually met an ancient immortal venerable who was of the same generation as him. What kind of blow was that? He simply felt that he had cultivated the Tao for his entire life in vain. When he was feeling complacent about being a rare void refinement realm cultivator among his peers, Ning Fan who was of the same generation as him was already an ancient immortal venerable. No, I misjudged him. He isn't an immortal venerable. Wei Xian suddenly said with a solemn tone. Phew. That scared me to death. Luckily he isn't an immortal venerable. Otherwise, how would I have the face to call myself the leader of the young geniuses in the northern sky? The child heaved a sigh of relief. He seems to be an immortal king. Wei Xian sighed with emotion. Master, you can't give me such a blow. The child was on the verge of crying. An immortal king was even more of a blow than an immortal venerable, all right? You must cultivate diligently in the future. You must use this elder brother as your role model. Wei Xian said earnestly. It's useless. I will never be able to surpass this elder brother in my entire life. I am not even as good as a seashell. I am even smaller than the feces of an earthworm. Wei Xian smiled when he saw his disciple who had suffered a blow. This child is still young. It's better for him to suffer some blows. Otherwise, he will never know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. However, Old Man Han really took in a good disciple. Chapter 1179. The Pure Yang sect was not far from the Halua Wei clan. With Ning Fan's speed, he arrived at the place in the blink of an eye. The Pure Sun sect was a Duzhen sect, and its power in northern sky wasn't small. Of course, that was only the strength on the surface. According to Ning Fan's senses, there were 3 traces of ancient qi lying dormant in the Pure Yang sect. They were ancient and experienced as if they were in deep slumber. It's another old monster that relied on the heaven-avoiding coffin to live from the ancient times until today, huh? Furthermore, the Pure Sun sect is different from the Chu clan. There is actually more than one hidden ancient monster. It's just a Duzhen force, yet it has such a foundation. Ning Fan scanned the area with his Yu sense and saw 3 fire coffins in the forbidden area of the Pure Yang sect. Each of the coffins contained an ancient monster that was sleeping soundly. That fire coffin was known as the Evading Heaven coffin, a unique characteristic of the Northern Sky sect. Ning Fan was no stranger to the heaven-avoiding coffin. He had already seen it when he first started cultivating the Tao because the old devil happened to have one with him. He even remembered a little about the origin of the heaven-evading coffin in the old devil's hand. It is said that in order to save his own woman, the old devil took it from the Pure Sun sect. Back then, the old devil took advantage of the seclusion of the Pure Sun sect master and touched the Pure Sun sect. Afterwards, he was chased by the Pure Sun sect and retaliated in principle. The old monster robbed other people's things first. The old monster must be in the wrong. Pure Yang sect will retaliate is also natural. Unfortunately, Ning Fan only liked to reason with others when he was in the right. Most of the time, he was an unreasonable person. Just by looking at one spot, one can know the whole picture. The stronger sects in the northern heaven should have the remnants of ancient cultivators that have survived until now. Rumor has it that the cultivators of the northern heaven rarely massacre sects and exterminate entire clans. The restriction of the heavenly law is one reason, but the fact that every sect and sect has a hidden old monster is also another reason. It makes every sect and sect fear each other. However, there is one thing that I don't understand. The heaven-avoiding coffin in Master's hands seems to be different from the 3 heaven-avoiding coffins of the Pure Sun sect. The old devil's heaven-avoiding coffin contained very little heaven-deceiving power and could only be used by low-level cultivators. The low-level cultivators lying in the coffins could deceive the heavenly Tao. Their corporeal bodies were not destroyed, and their vitality was not scattered. However, once inside, low-level cultivators would not be able to casually leave the heaven-avoiding coffin, making it rather inconvenient. The heaven-avoiding coffin used by the northern heaven's 10,000 ancient devils seemed to be of a much higher grade than the old devil's heaven-avoiding coffin. The power it contained was more than 100 times that of the old devil's heaven-avoiding coffin. Could it be that the heaven-avoiding coffin that the old monster took from the Pure Sun sect was only a low-grade version? It was no wonder that the old monster was not hunted down by the Pure Sun sect's 10,000-year-old monsters when he stole the heaven-avoiding coffin. From the looks of it, an inferior version of the heaven-avoiding coffin was not worth it for those old monsters to pay the price and walk out of the coffin. Forget it, those things are fine no matter what. Let's create some trouble first. We have already wasted a lot of time. Boom boom boom. Ning Fan transformed the power of his medicine soul into a cauldron. Just like what the old devil taught him in the past, he smashed the cauldron 3 times at the cultivation planet where the Pure Yang sect was located. This was the style of the Black Demon sect. Before bullying others, he would first smash the enemy's sect 3 times and call out all of their experts. As a result, the entire Pure Yang sect was dumbfounded by Ning Fan's attack. Even a fool could tell that Ning Fan had used an extremely powerful cultivation base when he smashed the Pure Yang star. Was this person an immortal venerable? Was he an immortal king? Is he an immortal emperor? It was even higher than that. How would the 3 immortal venerables of the Pure Yang sect still have the mood to sleep? They were all startled awake. Not good. Someone is smashing my Pure Yang star. The intruder is very strong. He is terrifyingly strong. What a terrifying magic power aura. The magic power that this person casually revealed has actually surpassed 10,000 tribulations. Moreover, 10,000 tribulations is obviously not his limit. 10,000 tribulations is the limit of magic power of a quasi-saint realm expert. Could this person be a quasi-saint realm expert? My Pure Yang sect is a small force. Why would we provoke a quasi-saint realm expert? Quickly apologize to this person. As a result, before Ning Fan could even begin to annihilate the entire sect and condemn the Pure Yang sect, tens of thousands of cultivators of the sect had already knelt at the entrance of the sect under the lead of the 3 ancient old monsters, welcoming Ning Fan's arrival. Especially the 3 ancient immortals of the Pure Yang sect who stood at the front. Each of them even bared their upper bodies and carried vines on their backs. Are they going to apologize to Ning Fan? Please forgive us, Senior. As long as Senior let us go, we will agree to any conditions. The 3 ancient immortals of the Pure Yang sect begged with tearful faces. Ning Fan was slightly speechless. He was a person who could be persuaded by reason but not cowed by force. Now that the other party was so understanding, he felt a little embarrassed to bully the Pure Yang sect. I am here to ask about the matter of the Halua Wei clan. Ning Fan remained silent for a long time and finally explained. Upon hearing his words, the 3 ancient immortals of the Pure Yang sect were dumbfounded. The Halua Wei clan. Did the Pure Yang sect offend this force? Speaking of which, does the Northern Heaven really have such a force? Lei Fuquan. Give this old man and the others an explanation. Give this senior an explanation. How did you become the sect master of the Pure Yang sect? How did you offend the Halua Wei clan? The 3 ancient immortals of the Pure Yang sect obviously did not even know who the Halua Wei clan was. However, they still called out the current sect master of the Pure Yang sect and criticized him harshly. The sect master of the Pure Yang sect, whose name was Lei Fuquan, felt wronged. He had been busy cultivating in seclusion every day to break through to the renunciation void realm. How would he have the leisure to bully the tiny Halua Wei clan? It was definitely not his doing. Of course, he did not dare to talk back to the 3 ancient ancestors, let alone Senior Ghost Face, who was suspected to be a quasi-saint realm expert. As a result, he called out the vice sect master of the Pure Yang sect, Shen Qiudao. This sect trusted you so much and allowed you to supervise the Pure Yang sect during my seclusion. Is this how you supervise? As the Grand Elder, you actually went to bully the Halua Wei clan that has the backing of a quasi-saint. You have disappointed this sect. Take your own life to atone for your sins. Lei Fuquan kicked the ball and kicked the responsibility to the Grand Elder of the Pure Yang sect. The Grand Elder had a face of grievance. He was busy flirting with his concubines every day. How would he have the time to lower his status to bully the tiny Halua Wei clan? This was a huge injustice. Of course, he did not dare to talk back to the sect master. As a result, Hong Jinlong. How did you, the Grand Deacon of the Pure Yang sect, to actually be blind and run to provoke the Haluawei clan? The Haluawei clan is not something that our Pure Yang sect can afford to provoke. Why aren't you taking your own life to atone for your sins? The ball was cleverly kicked to the Grand Deacon of the Pure Yang sect. The Grand Deacon also felt wronged. However, he did not dare to talk back to the Grand Elder. Hence, Lu Debao. Don't you want to be an outer sect deacon anymore? Lu Debao was so wrong that he could not say anything. Hence, he pushed out his assistant who was an itinerant immortal. Zhang Hu. Don't you want to be an acting deacon anymore? You actually dared to provoke the Haluawei clan. You, what do you want me to say to you? Plop. Zhang Hu, the acting deacon of the Pure Yang sect, actually turned into a ray of light and fled the Pure Yang star when he saw that the situation was not right. So, it was really the Haluawei clan that he offended. It was the one that caused Wei Xian's realm to drop. Zhang Hu never thought that the tiny Haluawei clan actually had the backing of a quasi-saint. It was actually able to make the entire Pure Yang sect admit defeat and apologize to the Wei clan. When the cultivators of the Pure Yang sect saw that Zhang Hu had escaped, they were all startled for a moment and then revealed a happy expression. As a cultivator, which one of them was not intelligent? Everyone could guess that the main culprit of offending the Wei clan was most likely this Zhang Hu. Otherwise, why would he need to flee in fear? Lu Debao sighed. At first, he just wanted to kick the ball and shirk his responsibility. However, he did not expect that he would kick the main culprit out. Ning Fan was rendered speechless by the farce of the Pure Yang sect. At this moment, he was already too lazy to annihilate this strange sect. He casually threw out a tribulation flash and blasted Zhang Hu who had escaped far away into pieces. In this way, it could be considered as helping Wei Xian vent his anger. Well done. Senior has helped our Pure Yang sect to eliminate a root of trouble. Our sect will always be grateful for Senior's kindness. The expressions of the three eternal elders of the Pure Yang sect were full of gratitude. It was too fake. Senior has worked hard. Servants, prepare a banquet and perform songs and dances. Senior, please have a rest in the sect. The sect lord of the Pure Yang sect, Lei Fuquan, who was like a shrewd person, secretly called for a few beautiful female cultivators of the sect, wanting to use them to appease Ning Fan's anger. Ning Fan dismissed the few beauties who were sticking to his body in disdain. He had seen a lot of strange people in his life of cultivation, but it was his first time seeing a sect like the Pure Yang sect that was so polite and cunning. Forget it. It seems like the other people of the Pure Yang sect did not bully the Wei clan. Wei Xian's matter will end like this, if that's the case, the matter about the Wei clan. As soon as Ning Fan opened his mouth, the Pure Yang sect immediately expressed their stance. Senior, don't worry. From today onwards, the Wei clan is a friend of my Pure Yang sect. In the future, no disciple will find trouble with the Wei clan. If the Wei clan needs help, my Pure Yang sect is willing to provide help at any time. Manpower, financial resources, anything is possible. The three eternal elders of the Pure Yang sect promised straightforwardly. Ning Fan nodded his head in satisfaction. Compared to slaughtering the entire Pure Yang sect, finding a friend of the Pure Yang sect for the Wei clan seemed to be not bad. Oh right, there's one more thing. I have an old friend named Han Yuanji. He once snatched a defective heaven-evading coffin from your sect and was hunted by your sect because of that. Ning Fan planned to ask about the old devil. Hearing this, the three eternal elders of the Pure Yang sect felt a chill down their spines and cold sweat appeared on their foreheads. They thought that everything would be fine after the matter with the Wei clan was over. How could the Pure Yang sect have other matters that offended this quasi-saint senior? Lei Fuquan. Give us an explanation. Give this senior an explanation. Who is Han Yuanji? No, why do you want to hunt him down? Do you think it's easy for him to come to our sect to snatch the defective heaven-evading coffin? How can you let him snatch it? You should give it to him. He is an old friend of Senior Quasi-Saint. He came to our sect to snatch our things. It's already giving us face. Forget it. Kill yourself to atone for your crime. The three eternal elders of the Pure Yang sect said firmly. Lei Fuquan wanted to cry. He didn't know about the matter with the Wei clan, but he knew about the old devil Han. However, hunting down the old devil Han had nothing to do with him. That year, he had been in seclusion from the beginning to the end. Otherwise, with his strength, how could the Northern Heaven Devil Han Yung snatch his things? Of course, he didn't want to kill himself. Thus, he decided to kick the ball. Shen Qiudao. Give me an explanation. That year, I clearly ordered you not to kill fellow Daoist Han Yung and not to harm the lives of others for a defective heaven-evading coffin. I told you to be kind to others. Why didn't you listen to me? The great elder Shen Qiudao was about to cry. Sect Master is talking nonsense with his eyes wide open. In the past, when a little devil lord came to our sect to snatch our things, how could we not retaliate? How could we not take back our lost things? It's obvious that we're not to be blamed for what happened in the past, alright? Forget it. I'm just talking nonsense with my eyes wide open. I can do it too. Thus, he called out the great deacon Hong Jinlong and scolded him harshly. Then, he called out Lu Debao and sternly ordered him to kill himself to atone for his crime. Then, Ning Fan could not stand it anymore. He really wanted to know what kind of amazing person could create such a strange Pure Yang sect and have such a group of disciples and grand disciples. Crack crack crack. Just as the cultivators of the Pure Yang sect were trying to shirk their responsibility, the ground of the Pure Yang planet suddenly cracked open. Then, an ancient coffin with the chi of a quasi-saint flew out from the core of the planet. No one in the entire Pure Yang sect knew about the existence of this ancient coffin. However, when a quasi-saint old man with Pure Yang chi walked out from the ancient coffin, all the disciples of the Pure Yang sect were dumbfounded as they recognized the person's identity. The appearance of this person was exactly the same as the portraits of the Pure Yang ancestral master that could be seen everywhere in the sect. The founder of the Pure Yang sect had actually lived from the ancient times until today. How is this possible? Our Pure Yang sect is actually not a force of the pure truth pill, and we also have a quasi-saint realm expert. A bunch of bastards. If I still don't come out, all of you are going to throw away the face of my Pure Yang sect. All of you, go back and meditate in seclusion. Within a month, no one is allowed to walk out of the cave. The Pure Yang ancestral master was enraged. Even if the Pure Yang sect was razed to the ground by Ning Fan, he did not plan to show himself. However, who asked these disciples and grand disciples to make a fool of themselves? He was so angry that he came out of his coffin alive. Hence, all the cultivators of the Pure Yang sect who were gathered here were chased back to their respective cave dwellings by the Pure Yang ancestral master to meditate in seclusion. In the blink of an eye, only Ning Fan and the Pure Yang ancestral master were left. A first-level quasi-saint. Moreover, it's an existence that is about to break through to the second level. Ning Fan's eyes turned slightly solemn. What kind of senses did he have? When he arrived at the Pure Yang star, he actually did not notice that there was an old quasi-saint realm cultivator hiding here. This person's ability to conceal his chi was just too heaven-defying. In terms of this ability alone, this person was enough to be ranked among the top 3 in the Dharma ending era. Perhaps even some grand cultivation realm cultivators were no match for him. I'm Pure Yang Zi. Are you fellow Daoist Zhao Jian who conquered the desolate land? The Pure Yang ancestral master waved his horsetail whisk and approached Ning Fan with a smile. However, that smile made Ning Fan feel a trace of hypocrisy. This is a hypocritical person. It's no wonder that he can produce a large number of disciples who are equally as hypocritical. However, this person's cultivation base is indeed not to be underestimated. Ning Fan reckoned that even if he uses all of his means and summons the undying soul-sucking tree which has the cultivation base of a quasi-saint realm cultivator, he would only have a 50% chance of winning against this person. If the chance of winning is 50%, even though Ning Fan was unwilling to fight against this person, he did not need to be afraid of him. "It's me," Ning Fan answered. "I see. It turns out that the famous ancient great cultivator Zhao Jian is just a small immortal king who deceived the entire world." The pure young ancestral master smiled meaningfully. What he said was a telepathic message. He did not tell Ning Fan about his discovery. Obviously, he still had some scruples against Ning Fan and was unwilling to become enemies with him. However, his words still made Ning Fan's heart tremble. He was shocked because this pure young ancestral master's eyesight was too sharp. His eyesight was probably enough to be ranked among the top 3 in the Dharma-ending era. Even Taoist Mu Song, who had opened his eyes, was far inferior to this pure young ancestral master in terms of eyesight. After all, if it's Taoist Mu Song, he might not necessarily be able to see through Ning Fan's background with just a glance. So what if I'm an immortal king? So what if I'm not an immortal king? Ning Fan asked noncommittally. Sigh. Fellow Taoist is really unhappy. I'm not looking down on you just because you're a small immortal king. On the contrary, you're able to cultivate 13,700 tribulations magic power at the immortal king realm. Moreover, you have some trump cards that even I feel threatened by. I don't dare to look down on you at all. If fellow Taoist improves your cultivation base further, there will be a day when I won't even be able to defeat your little finger. However, it's a pity that the purity of fellow Taoist's magic power is too low. If you don't solve the problem of the purity of your magic power and continue to blindly increase the quantity of your magic power, you will suffer the consequences of your own actions one day and follow in the footsteps of the undying great emperor. Follow in the footsteps of the undying great emperor. What do you mean? Ning Fan asked with a frown. 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold for one question. The pure young ancestral master said with a strange smile. This person actually knows that I have heavenly Tao gold. This is no longer the extent of having sharp eyesight. It's more like he can predict the future, so that's how it is. This person's Tao of divination has already reached the divine realm. Or perhaps, he's just trying to deceive me. He doesn't know that I have a large amount of heavenly Tao gold and silver with me. Ning Fan shook his head. I don't have heavenly Tao gold. Sigh. Fellow Taoist is really unhappy. Fine, fine, fine. When fellow Taoist wants to quickly increase the purity of your magic power, you can come and look for me again. Since I dare to use Pure Yang as my Taoist name, I naturally have some experience in the matter of the purity of magic power. However, fellow Taoist must remember to bring enough heavenly Tao gold with you. I have been unstoppable in this world and I don't recognize father and son. I only recognize gold and silver. By the way, the pure young ancestral master suddenly changed the topic and passed an ancient jade slip to Ning Fan. My pure yang sect seems to have offended fellow Taoist in many ways. Since that's the case, I'll give this item to fellow Taoist as compensation for what happened to Han Yuanji and the Wei clan. Qi, the pure young ancestral master, turned into a ray of sun flames and disappeared. What disappeared at the same time was the ancient coffin that he was sleeping in and the gigantic crack on the ground. Did this person go back to sleep in the pure yang star again? Ning Fan scanned the jade slip with his spirit sense and his eyes revealed a strange expression. After a moment of silence, he still left the Pure Yang sect. What a pity. This young man has such a calm temperament. He actually wasn't tempted by the contents of my jade slip. Sigh. It's really not easy to earn his heavenly Tao gold. I wonder what are the chances of me winning if I snatch it from him directly. In the underground of the Pure Yang star, the pure young ancestral master who was inside the ancient coffin pinched his fingers and calculated. Then, he shook his head and sighed. Only a 53% chance of winning. That's too low. This young man's hidden means are indeed terrifying. It's not wise to become enemies with him. Sigh. I can only wait for him to change his mind one day and then come back to earn his heavenly Tao gold. Ning Fan left the Pure Yang sect. The reason why he came to the Pure Yang sect was to help the Wei clan and the old devil vent their anger. However, after witnessing the farce of the Pure Yang sect, Ning Fan was already too lazy to bully the sect. After killing Zhang Hu a little, he had the thought of stopping. When the pure young ancestral master appeared, Ning Fan no longer had the ability to annihilate the pure young sect even if he wanted to. The pure young ancestral master, according to rumors, the heaven-avoiding coffin that shook the entire northern heaven was invented by the pure young ancestral master. Ning Fan had long heard of the great name of the pure young ancestral master. However, he did not expect that this person was actually still alive. The phrase, hidden dragons and crouching tigers refers to a place like the northern heaven, right? However, there's one thing that this pure young ancestral master lied. The reason why he appeared was not because he was angered by his sect. From the very beginning, he had been eyeing me. No, to be more precise, he was eyeing the heavenly Tao gold and silver in my pocket. If I'm not strong enough, this person will definitely make a move and rob me of my heavenly Tao gold and silver. However, this person's eyesight is too sharp and his Tao of divination is too profound. He sensed a threat from me and thus gave up on the idea of robbing me directly. Instead, he settled for the next best thing, which is to exchange items for money and earn my heavenly Tao gold. Ning Fan once again spread his spirit sense into the jade slip given by the pure young ancestral master. In the jade slip, there was an incantation. The name of the incantation was Pure Refinement Art. It was not a complete incantation. It seemed to be only a part of the complete incantation. The function of the incantation was to help Immortal King Realm cultivators attain the purity of the magic power of a sixth tribulation immortal emperor in an extremely short period of time. The complete incantation seemed to contain more profound cultivation content. However, the pure young ancestral master did not give those content to Ning Fan. That person was waiting for Ning Fan to take the initiative to purchase the content of the incantation. If this person only wants to earn my money through proper channels, I don't have to regard him as my greatest enemy. Of course, there's also the possibility that this person has other plans against me. I have to be cautious, however, this incantation is very helpful to me. I've been worrying about the matter of the purity of my magic power. I've tried to purchase similar methods to increase the purity of my magic power through the trading formation of the ancient country. However, there's no shortcut. Under normal circumstances, the purity of my magic power can only be slowly condensed through the accumulation of tempering. However, this pure refinement art is like a shortcut. If I have enough materials, I can even increase the purity of my magic power to another level within a few months. Currently, the amount of Ning Fan's magic power had reached a terrifying amount of 13,700 tribulations. This amount was much more than many first-level quasi-saints. However, the purity of his magic power was only equivalent to a third tribulation immortal king. This was the limitation of his cultivation realm. It was also the sequela left behind by Ning Fan's rapid advancement in his cultivation realm. As a matter of fact, there was no need for cultivators to pursue the purity of their magic power too much before the immortal emperor realm. At this stage, the purity of magic power did not have a serious impact on one's strength. However, the advancement of one's cultivation realm after the immortal emperor realm would focus more on qualitative changes, especially when one reaches the first-level quasi-saint. The requirement for quality was extremely high. If one's magic power was not pure enough, many quasi-saint techniques would not be able to display their original power. If the purity of Ning Fan's magic power could reach the level of a first-level quasi-saint, he would be able to fight evenly with some weaker first-level quasi-saints with just his magic power. In addition to his techniques, it would be very easy for him to crush some weaker quasi-saints. Should I try the pure refinement art? Ning Fan pondered along the way and returned to the Wei clan. Seeing that Ning Fan had returned safely, Wei Xian did not ask Ning Fan how to deal with the Pure Yang sect. He believed that Ning Fan had already helped him vent his anger. As expected, a few days later, the news of the death of Zhang Hu, a cultivator of the Pure Yang sect, was spread to the Wei clan. It made Wei Xian's resentment for many years disappear. He was in such a good mood that he drank quite a lot of wine. However, as the news of the Pure Yang sect continued to spread, more top-secret information began to spread in the eternal circle of the northern heaven. These were all news that ordinary people could not know. The four ferocious immortal sect had forbidden them from spreading. Shocking! An ancient great cultivator, Zhao Jian, attacked the Pure Yang sect. 70,000 cultivators of the Pure Yang sect carried thorns and asked for forgiveness. Shocking! The Pure Yang ancestral master came back from the dead. He saved the sect with his unparalleled eloquence. Shocking! The Pure Yang ancestral master and the great cultivator, Zhao Jian, reached some kind of deal in private. Shocking! The great cultivator, Zhao Jian, had hinted to the sect master of the Pure Yang sect that he wanted him to serve him with beauties. Shocking! Ning Fan did not care whether the others were shocked or not. He temporarily stayed in the Wei clan of He Luo. It was not as Zhao Jian but as Ning Fan. The Wei clan of He Luo naturally did not know that a peerless expert had come to their clan. Thus, they did not treat Ning Fan well. However, Ning Fan did not care about these trivial matters. He was happy to live a low-profile life in the Wei clan. In the past few months, he was busy treating Wei Xian and cultivating the purity of his magic power. A few months later, a piece of good news spread across the entire Wei clan. Wei Xian, whose cultivation base had fallen for many years, had actually recovered from his internal injuries. His cultivation base had returned to the human profound life immortal realm. To the Wei clan, this matter was definitely a major event. Because the Wei clan, which had been declining day by day, now only had a life immortal realm cultivator left. The recovery of the Wei clan's cultivation base meant that the Wei clan had a second life immortal realm expert. Wei Xian, who had been neglected by the Wei clan for many years, instantly became the most popular figure in the clan. He was directly appointed as the great elder of the Wei clan by the clan master. Another few months passed. Another piece of good news came. After Wei Xian's cultivation base fell, he still continued to cultivate diligently. With the help of his many years of accumulation and the help of pills, he successfully broke through the bottleneck of the Ghost Profound realm not long after he recovered his cultivation base and became the only Ghost Profound life immortal in the Wei clan. This time, even the clan master of the Wei clan had to be careful when he met Wei Xian. Not long after Wei Xian broke through to the Ghost Profound realm, the third piece of good news came, making everyone in the Wei clan dizzy. It was said that the Pure Yang sect wanted to form an alliance with the Wei clan because of Wei Xian. Master! You really have a great reputation. That's the Pure Yang sect. They actually want to form an alliance with our Wei clan because of you. From now on, no one in the Northern Heaven sect will dare to look down on our Wei clan. A little boy was extremely excited and told the good news to Wei Xian. Wei Xian, who heard the good news, was naturally happy for the rise of the Wei clan again, but more than that, he sighed. What face did he have? Many of the benefits of the Wei clan, were all given by that brat. That's right, my brother still doesn't know about this news. I'll go tell him. While speaking, the little boy was about to open Ning Fan's door but was stopped by Wei Xian. Don't disturb your brother. He is currently at a critical moment in his cultivation. Wei Xian said solemnly. Do you want to tell the clan master and the others about my brother's matter? The little boy asked again. No need. This brat said that he doesn't want outsiders to know that he is here with me, Wei Xian sighed. Just like what Wei Xian said, the current Ning fan was cultivating in the room and had reached a critical moment. Condense, condense, condense. With the help of some rare immortal materials, the magical power in Ning Fan's body was being scattered bit by bit and condensed bit by bit. After a long time, Ning Fan exhaled a mouthful of turbid qi and stood up. He had stayed in the Wei clan for almost half a year. During this half a year, he used the pure refinement art as the foundation to completely scatter and condense his magical power. Just now, the last step of condensing his magical power was completed. After half a year of bitter cultivation, the purity of his magical power had finally risen from the third tribulation immortal king realm to the fourth tribulation realm. The total amount of Ning Fan's magical power did not change, but his qi had become much stronger. I really overestimated the pure young ancestral master. I didn't expect his pure refinement art to be even more incomplete than what I initially estimated. At first, I thought that this mnemonic chant would at least allow me to cultivate all the way to the sixth tribulation immortal emperor realm. However, I didn't expect that the pure young ancestral master would still miss some words even though it was an incomplete mnemonic chant. That's right, the mnemonic chant that was incomplete in the first place is even more incomplete. I can still cultivate this mnemonic chant for those with fourth tribulation purity and above. I can also barely cultivate this mnemonic chant for those with fifth tribulation purity and above. However, because of the missing words, there is a certain chance that my magical power will collapse and my cultivation base will fall if I cultivate it recklessly. Is this pure young ancestral master not willing to give me an extra mnemonic chant for free? Ning Fan was slightly speechless. At this moment, he was very sure that the pure young ancestral master was a greedy person. When dealing with a greedy person, if you can't crush him with force, you can only compromise with wealth. As expected, it was necessary for him to go to the pure young sect to buy the remaining pure refinement art from them. However, he would most likely be extorted. Achoo! At the same time, the pure young ancestral master who was far away on the planet of the pure young sect sneezed. Hee hee. It seems like that Zhao Jian is scolding me behind my back again. However, he should be coming to buy the remaining mnemonic chant from me soon. Money can make things happen. Hee hee. Money can make things happen, the pure young ancestral master smiled proudly. This time, if he doesn't extort Ning Fan ruthlessly, he would be letting down his identity as the titled god of wealth. No one knew that the pure young ancestral master had inherited the title of the previous god of wealth of the ancient heavenly court by chance. If this title is used, its power would be comparable to the power of a sect lord. Chapter 1180. Ning Fan quietly arrived at the pure young star. When he was a certain distance away from the star, he suddenly used his technique to summon a teleportation portal of the 6 paths and stepped into it. At the core of the pure young star, there were many profound seals that even quasi-sages could not break, preventing outsiders from entering. However, by relying on the teleportation power of the 6 paths teleportation portals, Ning Fan actually ignored the restrictions and directly appeared inside the core of the planet. What he saw was a bronze underground palace built in the magma of the Earth's core. In the palace, the pure young ancestral master was sleeping soundly in the ancient coffin. When he sensed Ning Fan entering the underground palace all of a sudden, he was shocked. This is impossible. The restrictions that I've set up around the underground palace contain a tremendous amount of the power of a title. Even if a second-stage quasi-sage were to barge into this underground palace, he would need at least a few months to break through these restrictions. This lad was actually able to directly teleport into the interior of my underground palace without destroying the restriction. His means are simply shocking. The portal he used is very similar to the ancient devil's cavity, but only in appearance. The teleportation principle it contains is far superior to the ancient devil's cavity. In terms of divine ability compatibility, this divine ability was actually created by him. I can't believe he can create a teleportation spell that surpasses the ancient demons. 51% chance of winning, which is much lower than the previous time. This kid has only increased the purity of his magic power to that of a fourth tribulation immortal king, yet he's actually this much stronger. Pure young ancestral master's heart was filled with astonishment. Just as he flew out of the ancient coffin, he saw Ning Fan, who had a ghost-like face and silver hair, enter the inner hall of the underground palace with a smile on his face. Huh, fellow Taoist, your methods have really broadened my horizons. Fellow Taoist's self-created teleportation technique was able to easily break through my defensive restrictions. I'm afraid that in the age of chaos, few people can surpass fellow Taoist in teleportation techniques. Even the conceited elder devils of the Devil Conferral Summit are far inferior to your teleportation technique. Fellow Taoist Pure Yang, you're overpraising me. It's just a small trick. It's not worth mentioning. Ning Fan did not intend to continue the conversation on the Six Paths teleportation gate, which made Pure Yang Ancestral Master feel slightly regretful. Fellow Taoist, are you here today to purchase the next part of the refinement technique? Yes. Did you bring enough Heaven's Path metal? I don't know whether I have brought enough or not. However, before we start this topic, I would like to ask fellow Taoist a question. How did you know that I have the heavenly Tao gold and silver with me? Ning Fan asked meaningfully. Ha! Good question. As usual, one question for 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold. The Pure Yang Ancestral Master demanded a sky-high price. Obviously, he did not intend to tell Ning Fan his secret. He did not think that Ning Fan was willing to spend 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold in exchange for a mere question. As a matter of fact, even though the Pure Yang Ancestral Master could vaguely sense that Ning Fan possessed a large amount of heavenly Tao gold, he could not sense the exact amount of gold and silver. In the age of chaos, gold and silver were scarce in the heavenly Tao. In the eyes of the Pure Yang Ancestral Master, Ning Fan was already very impressive if he could have 1,000 taels of heavenly Tao gold. It was impossible for him to have more than that. Therefore, he could not imagine that Ning Fan actually possessed 29,000 taels of heavenly Tao gold. 500 taels, so expensive. Ning Fan pretended to frown and hesitated for a long time. Finally, he took out a storage pouch and passed it to the Pure Yang Ancestral Master. You're right, fellow Taoist. 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold is indeed quite expensive. That kind of wealth is enough to hire a first-step demisage from the northern sky to help you once. Well, I don't think you can afford to ask that question. The storage bag that you handed to me is most likely empty. I don't believe that you are willing to spend 500 taels of heaven Tao gold just to ask about my background. The Pure Yang Patriarch casually took the storage bag and checked it with his divine telekinesis out of boredom. Then, his jaw dropped in shock. It's real gold. This was the real heavenly Tao metal. 500 taels of silver. Not a single coin. This person was actually willing to spend 500 taels of gold of the heavenly path to ask a question. How much heavenly law gold did he have? 2,000 taels. 3,000 taels. Or even more. He seemed to have underestimated this kid. However, this lad seemed to feel the pinch when he spent the money. It was obvious that even though he had more heavenly Tao gold than I had guessed, it wasn't too much. You, boundless heavenly deity, struck it rich this time. The Pure Yang Ancestral Master did not conceal the greed on his face at all. He hurriedly set up layers of restrictive spells and kept the 500 taels of heavenly Tao metal, as if he was worried that Ning Fan would take it back. Hey, I've spent the money. Can you answer my question now? Yes, of course you can. Fellow Taoist Ning, ah no, younger brother Ning. To tell you the truth, the reason why I could sense the heavenly Tao gold in your body is because I have a special title in the immortal world. Therefore, I am extremely sensitive to things like money. Even though you hid the heavenly Tao gold and silver in your body well, it still couldn't hide from the senses of my title. The pure young ancestral master had just accepted Ning Fan's money, and now, he began to address Ning Fan as his brother. Ning Fan continued to pretend to be poor on the surface, but he was extremely speechless inwardly. Just as he had expected, this pure young ancestral master was a person who valued money as much as his life. Just by giving him 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold, he could make this person treat him as his brother. This person really had no bottom line and no integrity at all. This person claimed that he didn't recognize his parents but only recognized money. It turned out that he was not lying. Title? It seems like I had guessed wrongly. I initially thought that Brother Pure Yang's senses were sharp because of your extraordinary Tao of divination. I didn't expect it to be related to your title. I once met a Buddhist cultivator who also inherited a title. His title was Maitreya, but I wonder what is Brother Pure Yang's title. Ning Fan had always been thick-skinned. Since the pure young ancestral master took the initiative to address him as brother, why would he reject it? Hence, he also addressed the pure young ancestral master as his brother without feeling inappropriate at all. Hearing that Ning Fan still had another question, the pure young ancestral master was overjoyed. The second question is still 500 taels of silver. Ning Fan was astonished. Then, he revealed a troubled expression. It's too expensive. Can't it be cheaper? Sigh. Brother, please forgive me. My title is a big matter. It's also my biggest secret. Once outsiders know about it, there will be endless troubles in the future. Considering the risk of answering the questions, I'm already being very kind by offering such a price. The pure young ancestral master said shamelessly. All right. I'm really interested in my title. Fine, fine. It's expensive then. I'll just spend the last 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold. Ning Fan dawdled for almost the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. Then, he took out another 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold and handed it to the pure young ancestral master, hesitantly. Halfway through, Ning Fan seemed to have regretted it. He did not want to ask any more and wanted to withdraw his hand. The pure young ancestral master was quick to react. How would he give Ning Fan the chance to regret? He snatched the storage pouch away and laughed. Cultivators like us always keep our words. Once we've made a decision, how can we hesitate and go back on our words? It's too late for fellow Taoists to regret now. I'll answer your question now. I won't let fellow Taoists' money go to waste. What does it mean to be greedy for money? This is it. Ning Fan gave Pure Yang 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold and Pure Yang called him little brother. Ning Fan gave Pure Yang 1,000 taels of heavenly Tao gold and Pure Yang called him big brother. Ning Fan was very suspicious. If he was willing to give all of his heavenly Tao gold to Pure Yang, would Pure Yang be willing to call him father or ancestor? As a person who was about to break through to the second level of the quasi-saint realm, the pure young ancestral master was actually greedy for money. Ning Fan was also speechless. Of course, on the surface, Ning Fan still had to pretend to be distressed. He still understood the principle of not revealing one's wealth. The richer he was, the more he couldn't show off his wealth. Fine, fine, fine. The money has already been put into your pocket. It is too late for me to regret it now. Quickly tell me, what is your title? Ning Fan sighed. He did not stand on ceremony with Chunyang. Since Chunyang called him big brother, he would call Chunyang little brother. He. My title is the God of Wealth. As the God of Wealth of this generation, I am born with a keen perception towards gold and silver. I can even use some special secret techniques by consuming gold and silver. As for what kind of secret techniques I have, fellow Taoist shouldn't ask too much. Even if you give me money, I won't tell you. Chun Yang still knew the severity of the matter. Thus, he did not reveal all the secrets to Ning Fan. Ning Fan muttered to himself, so the pure young ancestral master is the god of wealth. Since the Buddhist sect had the title of Maitreya, there must be other titles for Buddhist cultivators. Since the celestial family had the title of god of fortune, there must be other kinds of celestial family titles. Titled battle pet warriors were as powerful and as rare as domain pet warriors. No wonder Ning Fan felt that the pure young ancestral master was extremely powerful. It turned out that he was a titled quasi-saint. Now that Ning Fan knew the background of the pure young ancestral master, he would be able to fight against him in a targeted manner in case he falls out with him. The benefits would be great. The money spent was not a waste. Hee. Fellow Taoist, do you have any other questions? Are you not going to ask any more? The pure young ancestral master's face was filled with anticipation. He still wanted to earn more heavenly Tao gold from Ning Fan. Ning Fan, however, did not want to ask any more questions. He shook his head and said, "No. If I ask any more questions, I probably won't be able to afford the subsequent purification art." Hearing that Ning Fan did not plan to ask any more questions, the pure young ancestral master felt regretful. However, once Ning Fan mentioned the transaction of the purification art, he became spirited again. "Fellow Taoist and I hit it off the moment we met. Of course, I won't overcharge you for the purification art. You don't have to worry about this, big brother. The incantation for purity of the fifth tribulation immortal king is 500 taels of gold, the incantation for purity of the sixth tribulation immortal emperor is 1,000 taels of gold, the incantation for the seventh tribulation is 1,500 taels of gold, the incantation for the eighth tribulation is 2,000 taels of gold, the incantation for the ninth tribulation is 2,500 taels of gold, the incantation for the first stage quasi-saint is 3,000 taels of gold, the incantation for the second stage quasi-saint is 3,000 taels of gold, the incantation for the third stage grand cultivator is 3,000 taels of gold. The pure young ancestral master beamed with joy. What did he mean by demanding an exorbitant price? That was it. If Ning Fan is foolish enough to buy all the oracular chant, he could earn another 16,500 taels of heavenly Tao gold from him. However, the pure young ancestral master was not too optimistic. According to his observation, Ning Fan was hesitant when spending money. Obviously, he did not have much money left. After spending 1,000 taels of gold, Ning Fan's probably only had 2,000 to 3,000 taels of gold left. If I don't earn all the heavenly Tao gold you have, I wouldn't be called the god of fortune. Indeed, it was as the pure young patriarch had expected. After hesitating for a while, he decided to only buy the complete oracular chant for the fifth and sixth tribulations. He spent another 1,500 taels of gold. Fellow Taoist, aren't you going to buy the oracular chant for the seventh tribulations? The pure young patriarch probed with a meaningful tone. About this. Let me think about it. Ning Fan said hesitantly. After hesitating for 2 hours, Ning Fan finally told the pure young patriarch that he would not buy the oracular chant for the time being. Not buying it for the time being means that he still has enough money to buy the oracular chant for the seventh tribulations. Otherwise, he wouldn't have hesitated for such a long time. Of course, it's also possible that he is purposely trying to confuse me. The pure young patriarch rolled his eyes. There were already many speculations in his mind. However, he still treated Ning Fan kindly and called him fellow Taoist and little brother. When Ning Fan left the bronze palace of the underground palace, the pure young patriarch even sent him off with tears and said reluctantly, "Fellow Taoist Ning, remember to come back and visit me when you have the time. If you change your mind and want to buy the oracular chant for the seventh tribulations, you are always welcome to come and buy it." Sigh. I better think about the oracular chant for the seventh tribulations. Ning Fan let out a long sigh helplessly. Then, he bid farewell to the pure young patriarch and left the pure young star. As soon as Ning Fan left, the pure young patriarch wiped away his tears and let out a strange chuckle. I'm rich. I've made another windfall. I've earned 2,500 taels of heavenly Tao gold from this young man in just one transaction. If I devour this amount of heavenly Tao gold with the power of the God of Fortune, my magic power will increase by 250 tribulations within 10 years. Hopefully, this young man will change his mind soon and come back to buy the oracular chant for the 7th tribulation so that I can earn another fortune. Similarly, as soon as Ning Fan flew out of the range of the pure young patriarch's spirit sense, the worried expression on his face immediately changed. My acting is so strenuous. I wonder how much of my words are believed by that pure young patriarch. Ning Fan had been pretending to be poor. His acting might not be able to deceive the pure young patriarch's eyes, but it was enough to make him skeptical. I've spent a total of 2,500 taels of heavenly Tao gold on this trip. I've really been ripped off by that old man. If I don't pretend to be poor and reveal a little of my wealth, that old man would probably rip me off even more. That's also the reason why I can't buy all of the oracular chants in one go even if I have the wealth. With that old man's shameless character, if he knows that I have a lot of money, he will definitely raise the price on the spot. The God of Fortune. This person's Tao seems to be related to money. I once obtained the imitation ability of the Treasureful Divine Light, and sold it to the heaven-reaching sect for 30,000 gold taels. If I take out this technique, I can probably attract that old man's attention even if he doesn't have enough materials to cultivate this technique. If I sell the Treasureful Divine Light to that old man, I wonder if I can earn some heavenly Tao gold from him. Forget it. Before I have the strength to absolutely crush that old man, it's better for me not to have too much contact with him. If he finds out that I have more than 20,000 taels of heavenly Tao gold with me, it will be troublesome. In the starry sky, Ning Fan flipped through the complete oracular chant for the 5th and 6th tribulations and fell into deep thought. As for the 4th tribulation's refinement chant, as long as there are enough immortal materials, one could cultivate it anywhere. However, the refinement chant after the 5th tribulations was different. It actually required one to find a place with extreme fire in order to cultivate it. A place with extreme fire. No wonder the old ancestor of the pure yang star stayed in the underground magma of the pure yang star all day. It must be because he wanted to cultivate the refinement chant and continuously condense the purity of his magic power. Ning Fan took out the treasure-searching compass. After searching for a while, he found hundreds of fiery red light spots of different sizes on the compass. Each of the light spots represented a place with extreme fire. The bigger the light spot, the stronger the fire elemental power and the more suitable it was to cultivate the refinement chant. Among them, there were more than 400 small light spots. There were 12 of them and the pure yang sect was one of them. However, there were only 4 large light spots. What Ning Fan did not expect was that one of the large light spots was actually pointing to the planet of the Black Devil sect. Other than the planet where the Black Devil sect was located, the other 3 light spots were very elusive and hard to find. Obviously, even with the treasure-searching compass, it would be difficult for Ning Fan to reach his destination. If that's the case, I'll go to the Black Devil sect. Speaking of which, I'm the 972nd sect master of the Black Devil sect. Since I've come to the Northern Heaven, I should go and see what the real Black Devil sect looks like. Moreover, I can also purify my magic power during this trip. It's a win-win situation. After I finish cultivating the incantation for the 5th and 6th tribulations, I'll go to the pure young ancestral master to buy the incantation for the 7th tribulations. Speaking of the Black Devil sect, I actually miss my master a little, even though he's always disrespectful. Ning Fan's eyes turned gentle. Through time and space, he seemed to see the old devil in the past again. He was singing an unpleasant song while planting the Tao fruits. Then, Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He thought of Moksha Sovereign and the White Devil sect. In the past, the White Devil sect lured Moksha Sovereign with benefits, causing him to betray the old devil and assassinate him. Moksha Sovereign had already been executed, but the White Devil sect had yet to receive the punishment they deserved. This is bad. Very bad. To the young Ning Fan, the White Devil sect was a super force in the heavens that he could only look up to. To the current Ning Fan, the White Devil sect was just an ant. With Ning Fan's speed, he arrived at the Yin-Yang star in a short while. The Yin-Yang star was the main star of the Black Devil sect. According to the old devil's description, when he was at his peak, the Black Devil sect was flourishing. There were 48,000 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators and 7 Life Immortal Realm cultivators in the sect. Besides, the old devil, the true immortal Du Zhen, was also the leader of the sect. Thus, it could be considered as a strong force in the northern heaven. But now, Ning Fan sighed softly. With just a sweep of his spirit sense, he could sense the current situation of the Black Devil sect. There were only 2 Life Immortal Realm cultivators left. The total number of cultivators in the sect did not even reach 10,000 people. The Black Devil sect had declined. Ever since the old devil fell to the rain world, the Black Devil sect had been declining day by day. Among the 7 Life Immortal Realm cultivators of the Black Devil sect, 5 of them had already died on the path of cultivation. Ning Fan firmly believed that the White Devil sect must have played a part in the decline of the Black Devil sect. Thus, with his rain sense, he found the White Devil sect a few star regions away. The White Devil sect had bullied the old devil. With Ning Fan's personality, he originally planned to destroy the White Devil sect along the way. That was his plan. However, before he could make his move, the chi of a quasi-saint realm cultivator suddenly spread out from the boundless underground of the White Devil sect. It was a first-level quasi-saint. His spirit sense carried extreme coldness and swept across the starry sky where Ning Fan was. It was Ning Fan's first time encountering such an icy cold spirit sense. The owner of this spirit sense did not seem to be a weak quasi-saint. Unfortunately, when the quasi-saint realm spirit sense scanned across the starry sky, Ning Fan was already gone. Strange. Why do I feel like I'm being spied on? Moreover, it's coming from the direction of the Black Devil sect. Could it be an illusion? The mysterious quasi-saint realm cultivator shook his head and continued to sleep in the heaven-evading coffin under the ground of the White Devil sect. Where was Ning Fan at this moment? At the moment when the quasi-saint realm cultivator spread his spirit sense to search for him, Ning Fan removed his ghost mask and hid on the Yin-Yang star, mingling with the local cultivators of the Yin-Yang star. When he arrived at the Yin-Yang star, Ning Fan felt like he had arrived at his home ground. For some unknown reason, as long as Ning Fan, who was the sect master of the Black Devil sect, stayed on the Yin-Yang star, even the spirit sense of the mysterious quasi-saint realm cultivator could not see through Ning Fan's true cultivation level. It was also because Ning Fan sensed the strangeness of the Yin-Yang star that he did not continue to wear the ghost mask. Currently, the news of Zhao Jian, a great cultivator with a ghost mask and silver hair, had probably already spread across the entire northern heaven. If he wears the ghost mask, it would be easier for the mysterious quasi-saint realm cultivator to see through his identity. Thus, Ning Fan removed his ghost mask. It's strange. Why do I feel a vast power strengthening my body as long as I stand on the Yin-Yang star? There seems to be something wrong with this Yin-Yang star. No, it's not just, seems. There is definitely something wrong with it. Why is the Yin-Yang star where the tiny Black Devil sect is located in the top 4 places of extreme fire in the northern heaven? My master has never mentioned this to me at all. What's even stranger is that the tiny White Devil sect actually has a quasi-saint realm cultivator sleeping in the heaven-evading coffin. Does the White Devil sect know about this? Or is it the same as the Pure Yang sect which doesn't know that they have a quasi-saint realm cultivator? The White Devil sect is just a force of Du Zhen. Why would it have a quasi-saint realm cultivator? This doesn't make sense, I remember my master once said that the Black Devil sect wasn't called the Black Devil sect in the beginning. There was once an ancient sect in the Four Mysterious Sects Alliance that split into two. One was the Black Devil sect while the other was the White Devil sect. These two sects were the predecessor of the Black Devil sect. It seems like the history of the Black Devil sect isn't as simple as I thought. There are many things that my master has yet to tell me. No. It's not that he doesn't want to tell me. It's just that when he was at his peak, his cultivation base was just at the crossing truth realm. There are many secrets that I'm afraid even my master doesn't have the right to know. For example, the ancient history of the Black Devil sect and the quasi-saint realm cultivator sleeping in the underground of the White Devil sect. Previously, I didn't expect the White Devil sect to have such a deep background. If that's the case, it's a little unrealistic to destroy the White Devil sect within a short period of time. It seems like I need to find out the history of the Black Devil sect and the White Devil sect first. First, it's the Pure Yang sect. Then, it's the White Devil sect. There are really a lot of quasi-saints in the northern heaven. As expected of the headquarters of the four mysterious sects. With the heaven-evading coffin to extend one's lifespan, the hidden strength of the northern heaven obviously far exceeds that of the eastern heaven. Could this be the reason why the Devil Conferral Summit focused their attack on the northern heaven? While Ning Fan was pondering, an excited voice suddenly resounded and interrupted his thoughts. "Who are you, fellow Taoist? Why are you loitering around my Black Devil Mountain? Could it be that you are here to join my sect?" A void fragmentation realm old expert of the Black Devil sect landed beside Ning Fan and sized him up excitedly. Currently, the cultivation base that Ning Fan revealed was only at the void fragmentation realm. Therefore, this void fragmentation realm expert of the Black Devil sect naturally regarded Ning Fan as a void fragmentation realm cultivator who came from afar. As the Black Devil sect declined day by day, there were already very few experts who would take the initiative to join the sect. Now that he had finally met one, the old expert was certainly very happy. Actually, I am the 972nd generation sect master of the Black Devil sect. Ning Fan originally wanted to say that. However, he stopped himself. There were still many mysteries behind the Black Devil sect and the White Devil sect that he had yet to understand. Before figuring out these problems, Ning Fan did not plan to expose his identity rashly in order to avoid attracting the attention of that quasi-saint realm cultivator of the White Devil sect. On the surface, the quasi-saint realm cultivator of the White Devil sect did not find the person who was spying on him and thus withdrew his spirit sense. However, what kind of senses did Ning Fan have? He could vaguely feel that the mysterious quasi-saint realm cultivator had only withdrawn his spirit sense on the surface. Secretly, a part of his spirit sense was still locked on the yin-yang star, the Black Devil sect and every single movement in this place. I am indeed here to join the Black Devil sect. I wonder if your sect is still accepting void fragmentation realm disciples. Yes. Of course, we do. Haha. Because the competition between the three palaces of the Lost World Palace has started again, a great war between the sects of the Northern Heaven is imminent. My sect is suffering from a lack of places to replenish our combat power. If fellow Taoist can join our sect and solve our urgent problem, our sect will certainly give fellow Taoist a satisfactory reward. The elderly man said happily. The competition between the three palaces of the Lost World Palace. A great war between the sects of the Northern Heaven. What's that? Ning Fan instinctively frowned. Currently, the Northern Heaven was facing an unprecedented calamity. The Lost World Palace was actually still having a competition between the three palaces and the Northern Heaven was actually having a great war between the sections. These things sounded like internal strife for power and profit, killing each other. If that's really the case, the Lost World Palace and those sects of the Northern Heaven who are participating in the war are really ignorant. Do they really have to pick this critical moment to stir up trouble for their own people? Or perhaps, there was an inside story that he didn't know. Fellow Taoist, you actually don't know about the competition between the three palaces? Don't you know about the sect war? In the northern heaven, very few people who have stepped into the void fragmentation realm do not know about these things. Could it be that fellow Taoist has just broken through to the void fragmentation realm not long ago? Have you just stepped into the circle of void fragmentation realm experts? The elderly man asked in surprise. The cultivation base that Ning Fan deliberately revealed was at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. There were also strong and weak cultivators at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. It was possible that Ning Fan had stayed at the first heavenly layer for tens of thousands of years, or he might have just broken through to the void fragmentation realm not long ago. The difference in strength between the two was huge. If Ning Fan was just a rookie who had just broken through to the void fragmentation realm, the help he could bring to the Black Evil sect would be much smaller. Thinking of this, the old man was somewhat disappointed and dispirited. Back when the Black Fiend sect was at its peak, the weakest participants in the great sect competition were loose immortals or loose devils. Now, even those who had just attained the void fragmentation realm were going to be sent to the arena. How sad was that? Sigh. It's always a good thing to have one more void fragmentation realm expert. It's better than nothing. Fellow Taoist, please follow me. I will bring fellow Taoist to see the vice sect leader. The vice sect leader will arrange a suitable cave for fellow Taoist to stay in. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.